But it's hot.
Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to Checking In. We're excited. I know these guys always laugh at me when I talk like that in the beginning. But
I know.
We are super excited because of a couple things. The first thing I'm excited about is
we are
actually having a podcast.
Yay!
And secondly, we have our good friend Brian Potter in the house. Brian, thank you for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so Brian, we'll get into all kinds of stuff with Brian. Trust me, he's a character, and you've been around forever in the reptile hobby. So we could share stories all night long about the reptile hobby. But before we get going, I wanted to apologize about missing some podcasts because we had some technical issues. We have now went back to the old ways of doing podcasts. So hopefully we'll have mainly in studio guests. Obviously we have to be a little bit careful with that from time to time, but we may not be Zooming anybody in the near future.
No, we will not be.
It was so stressful, Brian. So basically what was happening was we had all this super expensive gear that was supposed to help us with this, because the problem is that you can do a Zoom easy if you record, but if you're live, multiple cameras, we want it to feel professional. It was like $8,000 worth of gear we had, and we couldn't get it to work right.
I can barely use my phone.
Yeah, it was. You wouldn't think it was. Well, the problem I thought was weird was we figured it out, and we had like 3 podcasts that it worked, and then all of a sudden the 4th podcast just didn't work, and so it was so frustrating. We said, let's go back. Let's just do. This is the thing. Honestly, I love podcasting. I think it's a great time. I know we'll have a great time tonight. It was kind of ruining it for me because it's like 4:59. You're supposed to go live, and you still don't know.
And even if it did work, we would have been all stressed out.
Yeah, so we just decided we're going back to this. So now we're excited about this. And weirdly enough, I may have told you this, but when we started the podcast, I made a list of the top 20 people that I wanted on, and you were in that top 20.
Oh, look at that!
So,
look at that!
Yeah.
20. Look
Yeah,
at that.
I think you were the 20th, but
It was on the top 10 for the podcast.
No, there was no order in it. I just wrote down a bunch of names, and I thought, number one. So first off,
who was one?
Please.
No, like I said,
Kevin?
it wasn't.
Was it Kevin?
Come on.
No, so this is the thing. I love Kevin. Kevin's been on. Kevin is he's a tough. It's like it's fun, but he's also so crazy that it's hard to keep in track. Yeah, he's ADD. Yeah, and don't get me wrong. Yeah, I love Kevin.
He was just ripping.
Yeah, but I will say he was really focused, more focused than normal.
I was impressed.
And it was great having him on. He's one of my dearest friends. I love Kevin to death. But
you know why he was so focused?
Why's that?
Because our audio was so bad.
He had to listen really hard. He had to listen really hard.
That's true.
Yeah, it was a shit show to say the least.
Yeah.
But so anyways,
we're here today,
let's
baby.
start by saying first off, gosh, we met you way before NARBC even.
Oh
right?
yeah, it would have been at Daytona.
Daytona.
Yeah.
Orlando.
That's right. That was
Orlando.
before Daytona,
Yeah.
right? And I think that I met you through Pete Call, if I'm not mistaken.
That's how everyone met me.
Yeah.
Pete introduced me to everybody as this fucking kid who came and flew in with, I don't know how much. I think we had, I don't know what it was, 50 grand cash. I think we brought.
What?
And albino boas.
Yeah.
And so it was my partner Jeff from Chicago Reptile House.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
I flew in. We brought cash.
Oh my
and
gosh.
We flew
Boy.
in. Pete picks us up. We go to Bateman's. Well, we first go back to his house, drop the cash off.
Sure.
Introduce us to his mom.
Oh my gosh.
The craziest, coolest lady ever, right?
She's
awesome.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
So then he's introducing us to everybody, whatever. We looked at the boas, we looked through there, and he's like, all right, let's go to Bateman's. And so we go to Bateman's, and we're doing these shots of Jaeger, and they're coming in like,
gosh.
they're coming in these like, they're not shots. A shot is like a shot glass, right?
Yeah.
No, they're in like what you drink a short glass for vodka.
Right, yeah.
It's the whole shot. It's the whole short glass full of this
That's
booze.
a Pete shot.
of booze, and we're shooting these things. We get so wrecked. We go back to his house. We get the snakes. We put them in socks. We stuff them in our. This is pre-9. This is this is 90.
We've done this. Yeah.
Like 95. Put them in all these socks and we're jamming them in everywhere. And then we go to check into our flight.
home.
Well, there was a massive storm that day, and there was no flights coming into Baltimore.
Oh my
So
gosh.
there was no planes to get us out of there. So I got my American Express card out. My partner is drooling on himself. He's so drunk.
Oh my gosh.
I get 2 tickets finally one way on some other airline. We get on the plane, and we got all these snakes on us. Pre 9/11. There's none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I look over, and Jeff's
crazy.
like jaws down, and he's got drool coming down,
Oh
big
my
drool
gosh.
spot. We got 50 grand worth of boas at the time. You know, like
Yeah.
now 50 grand, you throw it in a box and you ship it. It's like,
Right, but still.
but at the time it was like a
wasn't a
big,
thing,
it was
right,
a big
yeah.
deal, man.
Yeah.
And it was 50,000 more than we even had. You know
Right,
what I mean?
yeah.
So, we do this deal and. We finally get home and stuff, and then every time I would go somewhere with Pete, he's like, "This is Brian Potter. He spent 50 grand." And
Yeah.
Dick Gergen used to.
Oh my gosh, Dick Gergen,
Like
the hook.
it's like his tongue would be in my ass every time I turned around.
Because
You
he
know,
wanted to sell you blackheads,
Yeah.
right? He's like, hey, I got some blackheaded
I got some
on.
blackheads. I got some black-" I'm like, Dick, all my money is at Pete's house. There's no more. But he didn't believe me, and
They
so
were
he would like
fishing, right?
he was on me, man.
See, that's the thing I love about these things is like coming up with names. Like most people don't know who Dick Gergen is. He was like old time bred Bismarck ring pythons, black-headed pythons, stuff way back in the
Yeah.
day.
Back when people didn't have 'em.
And yeah, and he was
Yeah.
an old cantankerous. I mean, the fact that he liked you was crazy because
He didn't like me. He wanted money.
Yeah,
he just wanted my money, which I didn't have.
But he had a hook for a hand.
Yeah.
He had a hook for a hand.
Yeah.
Literally a pirate. This guy
Yeah,
was
he was a pirate.
Yeah, it was.
I love pirates.
Yeah, it
Yes.
was.
I'm
They're
a
the
pirate.
best.
I love
Is that the
pirates.
guy that you bought the pirate coin from?
I want to get married in a pirate outfit.
No,
It's
I
a
did. That
different
was a
one.
different guy. That was down in Daytona.
Is that
yeah.
you're gonna have a pirate wedding?
I want to have a pirate wedding. I
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
think it'll be awesome.
That
We
would be
actually,
cool.
there's actually,
would
believe
be.
it or not, there's a pirate ship here in Michigan.
Yeah.
And they came here to the Reptarium, the captain, and they have a local blog, not a vlog, a blog. And they did a story on us. And he said, we never took him up on it, but he's like, whenever you want to go out on the captain boat, I'll take you. I think the problem for me in particular is that I guess this is kind of a famous local thing.
I'm coming
and
up,
it's
we're going.
mainly women without shirts on. And so I didn't think Lori'd want me to go on the pirate boat.
Oh, so that's what the pirate ship is.
I'll go with you, and I'll keep an eye on him to make sure that everything's
You're
above
the
board.
last person
can-
that I would send
I
it
will
with
supervise this trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down. Like, I can take your place.
Yeah, you guys
know what
go.
I mean?
You
And
guys go
we'll
and you
tell
tell
you how
me.
it
Yeah,
is.
no,
We'll tell you how it is.
I don't even want to know. I
Just
seriously
scope it out a
prefer
little
not to
bit.
know.
Oh, we're totally doing this. I just FYI.
But yeah, it's crazy. This guy's like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
this
that was Dick
local.
Gergen, and
Yeah.
then of course I met you at that time, and I met Kevin. Through it was all through Pete. It was all through
Yeah.
Pete and that BOA deal, and Pete was just really great to me. Took me under his wing and
Yeah.
kind of like introduced me to everybody.
Yeah.
And at the time it was it was Mark Bell, you, Eugene Bissett,
Yeah.
Dick Gergen was a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah.
Trumbauer.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Craig was
Dunbar, yeah.
Craig was.
Still the
I love
mustache.
Craig, yeah.
The
So
mustache.
Craig and I have become friends through Bob Ashley.
Right, yeah.
Pretty good now. We're, I see him quite a bit, and he's been
He's
coming to the shows and having a good
Really?
time.
That's
And,
awesome.
He's such a good guy, man.
well, a guy's a good guy when he's like, he has cancer, and I'm doing the auction, and I'm like, well, I don't know if Craig's going to live through the whole auction, so we're going to do his part early.
well, let's
Nobody's surprised about that.
So let me just take the opportunity to say that obviously you and Bob run the NARBC, which is Tinley Park, St. Louis, which I want to talk about later,
Sure.
Texas, California at times. I mean, you guys basically have run what's been known as if not the biggest, the one of the top two or three biggest shows in the world.
Yeah, there's some other guys doing some good stuff too.
Yeah,
Yep.
but yeah, they're great too. But the one thing about your show that is synonymous that no one will disagree with is the auction. And you are the auctioneer, and you make the auction.
Oh man, it's I don't even know how that happened, because that's
Right.
not something I ever
believe
did.
it's called drugs and alcohol.
Well, that's
but-
possible. Yes, a lot of booze definitely
Yeah, a lot of
definitely
booze.
helped that out.
Yeah.
But the weird thing was, it was like never a plan. It wasn't like, okay, I'll be a funny guy and do the auction. It was just like somehow
It was you being
we
you.
just-
and
yeah,
you just
yeah,
Were like,
it
all
just-
right,
Well,
people,
you're
let's
kind
have
of
some
like
fun."
you're kind of like the Daniel Tosh of the auctioneer. Like if I said 1% of the things you tell people, I would be like
Dead?
kicked out of every. Like I would, no one would ever talk to me again.
right?
I mean-
my mom says that all the time. She's like, why do people talk to you?
I mean, just the racial stuff alone. I
Yeah.
mean, like obviously.
Maybe that's why Oz disappeared for 5 years or so.
Yeah, because you used to call him the other black guy.
He was
or
the other
something.
black guy, because there was only two black guys in the whole thing, Chad Brown and him.
Yeah, the other. Yeah. But I mean, you say stuff that like I couldn't get away with saying. But that's what makes it so amazing is that it's fun and people. More drunk you get, the funner the party gets, and
Yeah, it was-
that auction is epic, and it's not just. I mean, it's also for a great cause.
Yeah,
USARK, the United States Association of Reptile Keepers. You guys raised how much money did you raise last year for them?
I would say it's, I mean, Tinley's have been in the $100,000 range lately.
Yeah,
You know,
isn't that
just on the one,
Just
on
one
each
Tinley.
one they've been,
Each one,
you know, in
yeah.
that 60 to 100 range. And I think you'd have to ask Bob. He keeps track of this stuff better than I do. I'm so drunk I haven't remember half of it.
Yeah.
But I think when we did 100, I want to say like 150 or 60 grand.
Yeah, just in one time.
And then we
yeah.
did the coolest stuff, and my mom and dad really like it as well, is the stuff where we've done like for herpers, certain people.
Yeah, that have had problems.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because you guys have raised some sick money for people that have had, fires
Hard
and
times, yep.
and
Yep.
yeah, I remember the one that the gentleman lost his daughter, and we raised like
Joe Hupp.
Yeah, he raised
Yep.
like $20-something thousand for the family.
Yeah,
and-
he literally
and,
didn't have the money to bury her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so I mean, you guys have done some amazing things, but in a fun way.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
always fun. I mean, I know I bought. I think the most stupid thing I bought was a half-eaten Girl Scout cookie for $250. I think I spent that. I know that. Gosh, Lori? What did we always buy that you liked a lot? Well, one time I bought all that stupid bread, but that was not. But there was like a big
No.
bottle of wine or something like that. I spent
Well,
like $800 on. That was like a
maybe.
$20 bottle of wine.
Well, the pies. you
I
know-
was gonna say the
pies,
pies.
have you guys
yeah.
ever seen the pies
Yes,
that
yes.
Russ
I
Gurley
was
always
gonna
brings in from
say,
Oklahoma
Yeah.
from
You
that gas
like those
station?
pies? You got them one time.
Yeah, I got them a couple times for like $300-400 for pies.
Oh yeah,
Now they'll go for more. Todd will spend thousands on it.
thousands. It's crazy. No, the community's
Pies?
Yes.
We have a-
Those are some good fucking pies.
I need
They
to try
are.
some of
They
that.
are. We have a community that like is frustrating as it can be, which we'll have
Yeah.
to get into that obviously
Yeah.
tonight at some point too. There's then the other side of it. Like the
Yeah.
Tinley NARBC is a special beast, I think, because you see it reminds you of the Orlando days. I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
got a lot of that
Yeah.
vibe to it,
Yeah.
where everyone who's somebody is there.
Yeah.
And at the auction, it then sort of the peripheral people who, and I don't mean don't matter,
No,
but
right.
the real hardcores
Yeah.
come together because they know what's going to happen that night,
Yeah.
and they understand that what we do there is more important than really the whole rest of the night.
Right.
Because without that portion of
Yeah.
it, the whole rest of it will never happen anymore.
Right.
We'll
Exactly.
be done.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have an industry.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah, and I stopped doing reptile shows a while back. We'll talk about that a little bit later too. Why I did that, but I want to come back to Tinley or to any of the NARBCs just for the auctions.
Yeah, I
even
mean-
if I come in just fly in, for the auction and then bail. But although I think things are, a little bit different now than they were a couple years ago. Where I think a couple years ago I was going to have a hard time walking into
Sure.
a room with the Sean Bradleys of the world and stuff like that, where I knew these people were so vitriolically going after me. Now I think most of that's behind, and I feel like as a matter of fact, this last Tinley in October. I mean, there was a huge amount of people that were reaching out to me saying,
Sure.
please come,
Yeah.
please come, please come. So I was ready to, and I really wanted to come, this year. And hopefully,
let's hope we have it.
let's
yeah.
hope you have it
Yeah.
this year, But we do have St. Louis is still on.
So far, so good. Missouri numbers seem to be holding pretty good, and that's my biggest hope because Texas has just been on fire with COVID
Yeah.
and everything
Yeah.
else, and I don't know what's going to happen there.
But they don't seem to be caring, though, down there, right?
Yeah, that might be the deal. That it just doesn't matter. And now with pro sports coming back, because I was always saying we sort of fall under the pro sports thing because we have
Right.
enough people
Right.
to where if we can have our thing, they can have their thing. So
Sure.
I kind of watch pro sports, and as they come back, I feel like shows in general of all types, trade shows
Yeah.
will come back too.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope. I mean, I've talked with Jay and stuff like that, and even Lori. I'd like to come to the. Well, first off, it's my birthday, September 6th. And that's when the St. Louis show
Shameless
is.
plug there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bring presents. Bring presents.
Yeah, P.O. Box number.
Yeah, the P.O. box will be in the
My
description.
wish list will be up on the website at 7.
Amazon
Check
wish
my
list.
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon. Yeah. I'll get the Amazon wish list, the Victoria's Secret wish list.
That's right.
Oh! Someone hit the DJ air horn. We got some news.
Speaking of that, the panties right there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
You
got
got your
my
mouth
I got my panties.
Reptarium
Got my
banana
panties.
hammock for sale now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, look at this. This is nice. Reptarium swag right there. But no, I want to come to to that show
Cool.
just because really, to be honest with you, I want to buy a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Not to buy to sell, but to buy to. There's a bunch of colubrid
Calm
stuff
the
that I
fuck
really.
down.
No,
That's
there's a bunch of I'm not going to buy any ball pythons because I'm good there.
You're not
but
going to buy colubrids either, because guess who's in charge of that?
man,
Me.
colubrids. I know,
That's
but we're going to have a colubrid
That's my
person.
wheelhouse. That's my wheelhouse. I decide.
There's so many great colubrids I want to get. And that
I'm
show would
happy
be.
for you,
I
but
think that
decide.
we've been talking about it. What is your thoughts on the fact that there are going to be less shows? Will there like, so we do everything retail
Sure.
online,
Sure.
right? But a lot of these guys really rely on the shows to sell their animals.
Oh yeah, no,
So-
for sure.
And the other thing is, we know that the Chinese and Japanese and some other foreigners always came and bought tons of stuff.
Yeah.
And so you wonder if those guys are going to have a harder time selling. Not at the shows. They'll probably do great at the shows, but there aren't as many shows, and there aren't going to be the other people there.
Online sales right now are through the roof for everybody.
Yeah.
Like sales, period, are just like my store, everybody's store that I hear. You know, ZoomEd, who I order products through, was one of my sponsors. Exoterra, one of my sponsors as well. We order stuff from them. And so COVID hit the Exoterra warehouse, and they went from 17 pickers who would actually pick the products and pack them and ship them to 2.
Oh, my gosh.
For like 4 weeks.
Wow.
So they're like 6 weeks behind on shipping.
Wow.
ZoomEd sales are more than double Christmas sales right now. And
That's
they
how
have that.
BHB's been too, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
it's just,
across
it's
the
hard to
board,
get
it's
stuff
weird.
right
I
now.
just think that the problem is that for the people that have a great
Websites.
Facebook or a great website or whatever, they're great. But the guy that is just that basement breeder that goes to 3 shows a year,
Yep.
he's in trouble or she's in
maybe, or I think those guys might be just like calling their buddy Mike Wilbanks or their buddy Brian Barczyk or their buddy whoever and saying, "Hey, dude, just take my stuff." And, and they're happy to get it because they're blowing through stuff at a
because we can't.
pace.
I mean, literally, Lori talked about it. She's putting stuff up on the web. Like today, you put some
Oh
stuff
my
on the
God.
website.
I
It was-
put the first 2020 ball pythons. Literally, as I'm doing them, my phone won't stop dinging. Like they're
selling
literally
as you're putting
selling as fast as
Yeah.
I'm putting them
Yeah,
up.
it's
And I'm
crazy.
like, this is crazy. And I came upstairs, and Beth's like, "Well, obviously you put up." I was like, "Yeah,
But-
that's what I was doing."
Yeah, I
right
guess
now.
my real point was not so much that I thought people were going to have a problem, other than the thought that there might be some badass shit at that show that I'd like to buy.
Oh yeah,
Well, no,
no,
here's the thing,
yeah.
There is going to be, because I know I've reached out to a few people, and that's what they've said is they're holding everything back for that show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
There's,
that-
it's gonna be good.
That show's going to be really rough.
It'll be ripping.
because it'll be the first one. I know, and St. Louis is awesome.
I
Have you
haven't been
been?
to a show in so long.
Have you
Oh,
been
yeah,
to St.
You
Louis?
stopped going, like you said, 8 years ago, right?
No, it's not been 8. It's probably been 5, something like that. I'm not
Yeah,
even
like,
sure.
but,
that's
Something
but
like
you
such a-
didn't
I
go to
was
too many.
so
You were
young.
young, and you didn't really like going, so you didn't go to too many. So
Well, it's a lot. See, the thing I miss in particular about the NARBC is how fun it is.
Yeah.
It's
well,
not
it'll be
the
a lot
show. I'll be
more
totally
fun
yeah.
now, not having a table to work.
Right,
being able
because
to
the worst
just
part.
walk around.
Yeah, the worst
because-
part of the show was the show.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, like
I know,
like
because
being
who
at
sets
like
it all
setting it up,
Who
tearing it
tears
down,
it all
dr-
down.
Yeah,
Right
putting
here.
the animals away, packing the animals up. Not having to do that is going to be dope, man. I mean, I always watch Mark and Kim Bell like walk around the shows, and I was like, man, I wonder how that'd feel. Now we can be that person,
Yep.
those
Yep.
people,
Yep.
and that'd be dope as hell.
Just
you know.
being there for the
Yeah,
socialization.
yeah,
and
it'll
the
be fun.
Part,
It's gonna be fun because I think people are gonna be appreciative that they can get out and do a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just gonna be a good vibe. I
Yeah.
think people are gonna be like, it's like you become appreciative of
agree.
something that you can do that before you didn't think it was a big deal, and now it's like it's a gift to be able to go and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
You
No,
know?
for sure. I mean,
We
we're
saw that
seeing
there,
that
yeah.
with the Reptarium.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
with being open. I know he was like, worried, like, oh, are people going to come? And I'm like, oh no, people want things to do,
Yeah,
and
people
that's
are so
basically
happy.
what it is. People are just so happy to have a place to go, to be able to, have fun.
So, all right, craziest peak call story. Everyone has them. Everyone has one.
man.
Everyone has one.
this-
There's
this-
probably 10.
I'm a little embarrassed by this, but not too much to tell it to everybody. So I go to Pete's house, and we're just drinking. We're at drinking. That's
which
just
all he
that's
does.
just-
That's
yeah,
what he
it's-
does. Yeah.
So we're hanging out, having a good time, and at some point, we pull out a gun.
Oh my gosh.
I love that. Right off the
And
rip.
so Pete Mimikos lives next door.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And Pete Mimikos is, for those youngsters that don't know, is Peter Call's old partner,
Right. Yeah.
who they hate each other's
They
guts.
hate each other.
Hate each other.
Paul
Violent-
Miles, by the way.
I'm sorry,
Paul Miles.
not Paul Miles. I knew it didn't sound right.
Yeah, Paul Miles. Yep.
And so they live right next door to each other. They have property that adjoins, and they're both on like probably 10-acre properties,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, gosh.
So we get in Pete's like Ford Explorer, and we just blaze into his yard. And when I say yard, it's like they're both in like 10-acre properties. So they imagine big grass yard, huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're blazing around doing donuts in his yard, and I mean, like full on, not like a little quickie in high school thing. Like this is like
Yeah.
full on. And then we go to his house, and we're shooting a gun
Oh my gosh.
in that direction.
Oh my gosh.
Christ.
What in the world?
And like Pete is like, and I'm just like, fuck yeah, man, this is awesome. Like, I'm pretty young. I'm just out of the Marine Corps, and like, I'm just like, oh, this is awesome. I'm loving it. And so then like we're crank calling him and shit, and like all this, and like just he's like, fuck you, and so then whatever. So I leave, and like probably 6 months goes by, and I fly back out to Pete's house, and I walk in the basement, and there's a dude there, and Pete's talking to him and everything, and he goes, oh, hey, Brian, this is Paul Miles. Brian Powder.
Shit.
Paul goes, oh.
Hey, you're that guy.
He goes, you were crank calling my house that night with Pete. I'm just like, I don't even know what to say, man. I felt like this big. I was like, what an idiot, Oh
my God.
And he just laughed about it, and then that was that. So, but
I literally went to Paul Miles when he lived next to Pete. I went to his place once because I used to go visit Pete mainly. But one day I was like, I called up Paul and he said, yeah, come on over. Came over and he was telling me some of the stuff Pete did. He said the one thing he loved. He goes, yeah, one night he goes, those guys were doing all kinds of crazy stuff, yelling, crank calling me, stuff like that. But they were throwing frozen rats at my house. Large frozen rats at my house.
That dude would have been collecting them and putting them back in bags.
That's what he said.
So cheap. Yeah.
That's what he said. He goes, it was awesome. He goes, I got like 100 frozen rats for free. He goes, it was the best thing.
I guarantee it. No, man, if you went to Pete's house, like you would take like maybe a 6-month-old brand new Ford Explorer, and we would be trying to roll it. Like we'd have seatbelts on, and we'd be jumping over berms and like.
He was crazy.
It was nuts. Just nuts.
That's awesome.
Everyone has that Pete Call story. I mean, like no matter, and for the people that don't know, Call albino boas. Pete Call was a legend in the industry.
Yeah, he produced the first pieds, right?
Yeah,
ball pythons?
piebald ball pythons, albino ball pythons. I mean, really a legend. It's a shame that he's not very involved. I mean, I think Kevin and him are doing a little bit together at Nerd, but not too much. But Pete's one of those guys that unfortunately. Had a lot of demons, with substances, but he could have been anything, right? He had that charisma that like you'd walk in a room and you just love that dude. You're like, I want to be that guy's friend. As a matter of fact, I used to always tell the story like he was the Hugh Hefner of Snake.
I was going to say that. Yeah, he sold.
Yeah, you would go.
Lifestyle.
Yeah, you would go to Pete's and you'd be like, I hate snakes. And at the end, you'd be like. Emptying your bank account.
I'm gonna invest everything I can.
And I always said I was the opposite, Pete Call. Like, don't ever come visit me because you're like, oh my God, that guy works so fucking hard. It's like what a I don't ever want that guy's life, man. That guy, But Pete had the grotto and the naked women and the parties.
Oh man,
and,
we're at one of the auctions one time and his kid's there and I'm like, Pete's got a gay brother.
Okay.
And so we got the kid up there, and I'm auctioning the kid off, and I'm like, that kid's het for homosexual. that kid's het for drug addict. That kid's het for alcoholic.
Oh, my God.
And Pete's over there licking like a morphine lollipop, just like, yeah, this is great. I love this. This is hilarious.
And that's the stuff you get away with that I wouldn't get away with.
Yeah, it was just, super fun. And the other day, Pete called me up, and it was Pete and his girlfriend, and that kid actually lived. I didn't think that kid would ever live.
Right, yeah.
I thought, no chance this kid survives.
Right, yeah.
He's going to like,
nope,
who knows? And so he's like, yeah, do you remember this guy was auctioning you off?
Oh, my gosh.
And he's back there, and you can tell he was like, I'm like, yeah, I remember, blah, 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 blah. And the kid's just like, yeah.
It's one of the things I talk about in therapy.
For some reason, he didn't think it was super awesome.
Right, exactly.
He didn't think it was super awesome.
He didn't think it was super awesome.
Hey, Jay, let me hit a couple super chats really quick. Let me just back up here. Are we right here? All right, so we got Karina says, Lori is without doubt my spirit, and I'm not going to be able to read today. Even though I'm only 37, I want to grow up like her. See, Lori's not much more than 37.
What do you mean? I am.
This one's for me. It says brain. This one's for me.
Yeah, brain. I found another timber rattlesnake in the backyard. Will Lori let you have it? Actually, we can't.
No.
Yeah, no. And we can't even really like take timber rattlers from the wild. In most places they're protected, so you have to be really careful with stuff. But
there,
yeah, leave it in the. Seriously, timber rattles should be left in the wild. Soulless Honky, hey bro, it's always good to see him. He's from Portland.
Back, Honky.
Been a tough week. Really need this today. Hey, we're gonna have a good one for you, Soulless. I promise you. Brian's got all kinds of good stuff. Stephanie, you are always amazing. Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Stephanie.
Love Lori the most. Love Lori the most. Stephanie, that was kind of cold.
This is a
that is
Lori
cold.
Night. I like
was
this.
cold.
Thank you.
It's probably your big wine glass. It's just like hitting the
This was a
vibes on
gift.
everybody.
Checking in with Lori Barczyk. Thank you very
I
much.
like
oh,
it.
that's right. That was
Yes.
cool. Yeah. So we've got Ivy said visiting the Reptarium for the first time this Saturday with the son Noah. Well, that's awesome. I can't
Hey.
wait to meet you on Saturday. It'll be really great. Christine Kilroy, of
Good
course, our old friend, says hey. So whatever. LD Music. I didn't mean whatever.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm being like really.
Yeah,
like,
she said whatever. She said whatever.
Christine
Christine
again.
didn't say whatever.
God.
That was me. I'm sorry. My mind's a little bit twisted today.
Christine
guys.
said 1999.
1999.
She said.
We should just have.
I know. LD Music.
So I need to jump in here and
Thank
take
you,
over this
Christine.
little
Hit
deal.
this one. Hit the LD.
What's this one? Do they just pop up? Let's say parents have het albinos and make albinos. What was this about?
So he asked before I wanted to get
About
to
the genetics question?
Yeah,
Say
where do
recessive.
recessives come from in the
Yeah,
wild?
so recessive. I did see that earlier, and I'm sorry we missed that one, but I'm still laughing about the Stephanie. But yeah, they can just pop up in the wild. I mean, that's where pieds popped up, albinos popped up, stuff like that. They pop up in the wild. I think there was a book called Color Variations by Bernd Bechtel, and he surmised basically about 1 out of every 100,000 animals are heterozygous for a mutation, and so that gives you an idea. Yeah, color variations, you can look that shit up. It's pretty good. Bernd Bechtel was like a legend, you know. Yeah, right there, the color variants, that white book right down right there.
Yep.
Right there. Yeah, that one right there.
The one that says color variants.
Yeah, the one that says reptile and
Not the
amphibian
one you clicked.
variants.
Yeah, that one.
I love this book. This book is in my office, and I
I
absolutely
should
love
come
it.
here more often.
Bern passed away a few years ago, but he was really, you know, he was an old guy. You know, did you ever meet him?
I did not.
Dr. Bechtel, yeah, he was a great guy.
Dr.
He was,
Bechtel.
yeah, he was he was a dermatologist, but also a herpetologist, and he like really understood like the pigment part of the whole thing. So he wrote a book which was pretty boring for most people.
But good if you're into that stuff.
Yeah, if you're really into it. So LD,
That's why I'm partners
that's
with
what
Bob Ashley. He covers all that kind of
Exactly.
stuff.
Gosh,
And you
yeah.
cover
I
the
take
fun
care of
stuff.
the strippers and the alcohol and all that kind of stuff.
You know,
So it's like
Dude.
two halves make a whole.
Yeah, we really need your organization skills.
You do need me
We-
here. I can see.
We do not have a Brian Potter in this organization.
it is.
But we need one.
Yeah.
We need a stripper section in the back.
No,
Oh
no.
my
That's the private
That'll
tours.
be your.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Wait, is that not
whoa.
okay? Can
No,
we
it's
not
not
say that?
okay.
Whoa,
That's
whoa.
not no.
Champagne room.
That was
Champagne room, exactly. We keep it classy around here,
Okay.
Noah.
Sorry, sorry.
It's called the VIP room.
That's right.
The VIP room.
Let's see. Brian Potter's a legend. Can't
Sexy
believe you don't know him, Nathan.
Ah, that's my
What the hell,
cousin.
Nathan?
That's my cousin,
Is it-
Kim.
Is it really?
Kim King. That's my cousin.
Oh, that's sweet. What's up, man? That's
I blew
awesome.
that one, didn't I? I shouldn't have said that. I should have been like, oh, yeah, I got fans all over.
Exactly,
Yeah, you
no.
got- yeah,
Fans
you
all
got,
over.
You got your family
one
and
fan,
talking you
yeah.
up right
Your
now.
one fan is your cousin.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim. I'll send the check.
Speaking of
That's
people,
amazing.
you know,
She didn't even super chat.
Yeah, you should have super chatted and blew that shit up, Kim.
Kim, you
Get
missed
your
it,
shit
man.
together, Kim.
Come on.
Who the hell is Nathan Mitchell? Wait, no, whoa. Who's Nathan Mitchell?
All right, Nathan.
He doesn't know who you are.
How old are you, Nathan? Are you like 4?
Yeah, can someone in this chat let me know who Brian Potter is? I had.
It's probably one of my other cousins. Who the hell is that?
Yeah, so obviously Brian is the promoter for the NARBC, one of the largest
Listen,
reptile shows
honestly,
in the planet.
we needed somebody,
also-
and he was walking across the street.
Yeah, we found him at the
And we just
Salvation
kinda
Army.
pulled him
That's
and
right.
Said, do you want to do a podcast?
Hold on, I have to
Free
address
beer.
Heather L.S. Moore. Info on a mountain horn dragon, good pet for a 7-year-old. Only for like 3 days, then it will die.
Yeah, then he'll die.
Don't buy one of
Yeah,
those.
no, they are really bad. Brian also has God, how long have you had Chicago
I
Reptiles?
was gonna
Like
say-
20 something years.
We opened in October of '93.
Which
Wow,
is a pet store.
93.
Yeah,
Holy cow,
reptile
yeah.
shop. We opened
Yeah.
up.
Which is dope, by the way. Me and we went to it.
Yeah.
You know,
I know, that was a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was a few years ago.
And
yeah.
you do everything. We were just talking. Reptiles,
Yeah, so we have
fish,
Chicago Fish and
birds.
Coral Company. So we have the saltwater shop there, and then next to that, Chicago Birdhouse, the bird store. So
He loved the birds. Noah was
Yeah, that
like
was
the bird
cool.
maniac. Yeah, she was.
I've been
When you move on your own.
no, I'm not
we-
getting one.
Okay, we already talked
Eric,
about that.
I really want one, but I'm not getting one because everyone that has a bird tells me not to get one. So I'm not.
Yeah,
gonna
like,
get
why
one.
do
I own the
buy
store, and I would say you're fucking crazy if you buy a bird.
That's what I mean. It's just like I'm not
And-
gonna
and
get
He
one.
liked it until his friends got him,
Yeah,
and then he
exactly.
was like,
They're
"Oh,
just
shit."
dirty and noisy.
Yeah.
and-
loud and yeah.
Did we mention that Brian's a great promoter?
Yeah. And if you want a bird,
Come buy my fucking bird.
And if you want a bird, I'll sell you one, but you're fucking nuts.
and you know what? You'll still buy one from
That's
him.
right. That's right.
So
We got the best.
So the first NARBC was Tinley, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
2001.
2000.
We started. It's funny. So how that happened?
Wasn't
is-
it the Burmese thing, right? Or no, that was the second.
No,
when
that
we
was
did the march. Yeah,
that was the
that's-
first time Bob and I
yeah.
like.
That's when you started the march show. Is when you?
No. I think that was prior to NARBC in general.
Really?
I
Okay.
think.
I don't remember.
I don't know either.
talking
I just
about?
remember.
Does anybody out there know the answer to that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Was that where we met by O'Hare Airport, where
Yeah,
everybody
right.
flew
Yeah,
in?
yeah, everyone flew in. Yeah.
And then Jeff Behringer tried to shit all over it, and I had to put him in his
Yeah.
place because everybody was just
Yeah.
being nice. And I was like, Jeff, shut the fuck up. I'm like, oh, we already tried that before. That's not going to work. USARC won't work. We've already tried it. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know,
Well, yeah, 'cause
good
he
thing he
tried it
wasn't
in
leading the
his-
charge
yeah,
at
yeah,
World
yeah.
War II, right?
And yeah, Jeff was
The Indians would have won.
Yeah, Jeff was the. Well, I guess he still is the owner of Kingsnake. Is Kingsnake.com even a thing still?
No,
well,
it gone?
no,
Yeah.
it's a thing.
but
Is it
it's
still like-
not good.
I think there's only, less
Yeah.
people than there was before.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So
Yeah.
Jeff was. He at one point it was the largest reptile
Yeah.
website.
Oh, yeah.
By far. As a matter of fact, I heard rumors that like someone wanted to buy him out for like $5 million or
And he's a
something
fool
like that.
for
Damn.
not
And
doing
and
it.
then I think it like he couldn't sell it for 20 grand at
Yeah.
this point.
Doesn't
Yeah.
any- everything at that point, like if you have something
Yeah.
going and someone offers you a thing, and if you're just like, oh hell no, like nothing lasts forever.
Oh no,
no one
nothing
to take
at
the
all. If
money
you want to
and
buy my
run.
daughter for $5 million, I will sell her to you.
Bye
Oh
bye.
man, damn. Damn.
Okay.
We'll all be dead someday.
well,
You can take her now.
You should get paid
I
for it.
don't.
That
say
wasn't what
about
you
the
meant? That's not the
daughter.
same?
No,
No,
that's
it's a,
different.
it's a, yeah. I don't think that's
Business,
what Lori
daughter.
was
You can't-
talking
yeah,
about.
that's like
You might
Alright.
have taken that
Depends
out of
on the
context.
price.
Alright.
Take that back.
All right, 6 million.
So early '90s, Tinley started the NARBC.
So in '99, Bob and I went to the Indianapolis show that Brian Hahn ran.
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
And it was his. Remember, he did like once a year, he'd like a big one, more of like a breeders
Yeah, it
expo
was a
thing.
breeder expo.
So we
yeah.
went to that, and Bob and I ended up meeting at that. And he goes, "Hey man, there's a show in North Carolina next week. Do you want to go?" And he goes, "I'll pick you up, and then we'll just go." So he comes down, and I said, "Hey, you see that patch of dirt right there where all those Caterpillar machines are working the dirt?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "There's gonna be a huge convention center there."
Right.
I go, "We should put a show there, and make it like high end, like
Yeah.
instead of having that VFW
Yeah.
kind of like
Yeah.
regular tables, no
Yeah.
tablecloth, typical thing. Let's style it up like a real trade show."
Yeah.
And that's literally how it was born. So on the whole way there, and when we got to the North Carolina show, we started yapping about this great show we were gonna have, and
Right.
all the vendors were just like, "Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll do it."
Oh my gosh,
I'm in.
everyone
I'm
just
in. I'm in.
Yeah.
Everyone- and then we made a really, really nice, very expensive brochure. It was like you opened it up. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I
It
do
was
remember,
nice,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
It was
nice, yeah,
snazzy.
Yeah.
Like no one's ever done it. No one will ever do it again.
I know. It's like, all right, we've got a $5,000 budget. Let's spend $499.
Yeah, and then we'll keep
$4,090 on
$1
brochures.
for everything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
We're the king of that though,
Yeah,
because
we
we
did
were
that,
the
yeah.
first ones to like step
Yeah.
up the priceless game.
Sure.
Yeah,
and
we
then
had-
everybody
we had the
follows, when you do
brochure
that.
and that stuff. So yeah, that means a lot.
And so then, Mark Bell signed up and Pete signed up
Yep.
and all of our friends. And so
Yeah.
once you had the core guys,
Yep.
everybody
Then
else
they all
fell in
fell.
line, and that's kind of how it went, and that was it. We were off and
Yeah,
running.
and then all these years later, Tinley is still like the place to go. I mean, it's still the
yeah, it's
show
great
to
that
go
you guys
to.
have been able to keep it going.
It's cool
and
that it's my hometown. It's where I grew up.
Yeah, that's
you
what's
know?
so awesome.
That
yeah.
makes it
And-
nice.
And
yeah.
it's like who would think that Tinley Park, Illinois would be the spot?
Right, yeah.
It's so like, what?
Yeah. Well, at least it's close to Chicago. People can fly into Chicago.
No,
it's a
it's-
45-minute drive, so it's not bad.
It's got everything.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. And then you got-
Michigan's
yeah,
40 minutes,
Yep.
Indiana's 20 minutes, Iowa's 2
yeah,
hours,
Exactly.
Ohio, everything. It's
Yeah.
like right there.
No, it makes it. It makes it.
The
convenient.
facility's great. The people there treat everybody like gold. I mean,
Yeah.
almost all the vendors now know Danny's the guy. That
Yeah.
it's just it's very.
Yeah.
I feel like the people in the facility there are like family almost.
Oh, they're great. I mean, that's the thing. A lot. I tell you what, that's what changed with Orlando, right? Is back in the day when Orlando was, the people there loved us,
Yeah.
and then it went down south the last couple of years because I think they sold to like the Radisson or something
Yeah.
like that. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you can't bring animals in the room, you can't do this, you
yeah.
can't do that. All of a sudden it became like a hassle to even go there.
Sure.
Whereas Tinley, like you said, I don't know, is every Tinley at least once the fire alarm gets pulled or what? I mean, because
Pete Call was there that time,
because I tell you, what,
FYI.
it seems like almost every time I'm there, it's amazing that hotel is so welcoming because reptile people are rowdy as hell.
Oh yeah,
And-
sorry to
and-
break you, Brian, but we have to stop over here to.
Let roses
We've got
burn.
some super chats.
All right, Les Roses burn. We love her to death.
Loving the energy tonight.
Loving the energy. It wasn't going to go to the to Repticon.
Wasn't going to go to the rep.
Yeah, somebody read that can read.
I'm
Brian's
really-
over there like it was like somewhere between like a porn thing and it was like I don't know what that was.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's like I'm really having a hard time concentrating.
All right,
I'm
Noah.
really
Let's
having a hard time.
Let me give it a go.
Yeah, go for it.
Wasn't going to the Repticon this weekend, but now I want to go just because I miss the con atmosphere.
Oh my
Tinley
gosh.
is like a impossible
See, you just
dream.
made Repticon some money.
You know what?
See
though?
that?
Let's make Tinley the possible. Let's make the impossible possible.
Yeah.
You can go.
You can
Just
go to
go.
Tinley.
Just
Just
go.
Just go.
There
We
you
can
go.
all
There's
just
like-
go. We can all
Nothing's
do it in the
impossible.
parking lot.
Where does Heidi Pfeiffer fly in from? 16-hour
She's-
flight.
She was at Tinley.
Africa.
She's from South
She's
Africa.
South Africa.
She's one of our mods in the chat room, and you've met her. Her and her husband.
I remember her
Arno.
completely.
Okay, Arno and Heidi, they were there. Great people. They actually run
Yeah.
the biggest show in South Africa.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so unfortunately their show got canceled this year too.
I want to
but
come there and bow hunt.
It's got a lot of great hunting there. There's no doubt about that. They could hook you up, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got a lot of good hunting.
Yeah.
I don't know
Probably
about that.
somebody
I don't know
else,
much about
'cause
hunting.
Brian,
I don't know
Brian's
much.
not
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
hunter, no.
I'm not
No hunter.
opposed to it.
More of a
It's-
gathering
Just
kind
don't
of
do.
guy.
Yeah. Gather.
Observe
Nuts
and
and berries.
appreciate, not the hunt.
Yeah, if you want to get some berries out there, you could wander for hours and find so many berries in South Africa.
He can tell you what mushroom not to eat.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. But no, they're great. When you're ready
I'm
to
sure
go to
I'll
South-
remember who they are when I see her.
Yeah, when you're ready to go to South Africa, seriously,
Cool.
I'll hook you up. They're the most accommodating, tremendous people. They,
Cool.
they came here for Tinley and then came to the Reptarium for a little bit.
Okay,
so,
sweet.
So
Yeah,
and they loved
Awesome.
it. They said Tinley was fantastic. So.
See, she's gonna hook me up.
She
See
can
that?
hook you up. I told
Yeah,
you.
she can hook you up.
Yeah,
so
they're
no,
great.
they know everybody over there.
Awesome.
Like when like Travis Pastrana goes over there, they
Yep.
hook up with him.
Oh,
you know,
cool.
and stuff like that. Like the Nitro Circus or whatever.
Yeah.
They do all
Yeah.
that stuff.
There you
for
go.
them.
Oh, dude, that's
So
awesome.
they know everybody. They're great people, really good people. So when someone says, "What's up, Brian?" I don't know which Brian they're talking about. Alan, what's up?
If it says brain, it's me.
Go
Brain.
ahead.
Brain.
Why don't
yeah.
you both respond?
Yeah, brain.
Hey.
But getting back to it, Tinley is great because they don't ever seem to want to kick you out. You know what I mean? Which
Oh
is
yeah,
pretty
no,
nice,
no, they love it. You know, they're super happy that we come, and I think they're really happy that we're gone.
Yeah.
it's
Although
like-
it's funny, I
it's a
remember
lot.
It's a love hate.
I remember the Orlando people before they went to Daytona said that it was, from the bars. They said it was one of their biggest earning weekends of the year when the reptile show was there. They're like,
That's
man,
the
you guys
thing.
tip
I
so
mean,
good.
That's
You
what
guys
I
are,
was gonna say. They're rowdy and they're partiers, but generally, like they tip good. They
Oh
take
yeah,
care
no,
of
the reptile
people,
crowd.
So, yeah.
We sold them out of alcohol one time. Do you remember
oh
that?
my gosh.
I'm not
the
surprised.
restaurant was completely out of alcohol.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
That's like a
There-
impressive.
it's-
right?
Tinley is a no
accolade.
play. Like you got to go and
Heavenly Ness.
No, heavenly
Heavenly
knees.
knees.
Not
It's
knees, not knees,
It's,
not
it's,
knees.
it's,
Her
no, we call her
nicknames.
knees. We call her knees.
because
He's-
that's
Yeah.
cause
See, I knew that.
Brian,
That's why I did
that's
that.
how
so
Brian
much.
reads
That's why I
it.
did that.
Heavenly knees.
I
and
literally
that's
do
who
call
she
her
are.
knees. Yeah. I think she said she was coming up. Did she say she was coming up to the Reptarium?
Sometime.
I thought she said
We'll
she
see
was
her
going to
soon.
sometime.
I think
so.
You said everybody has a peak hall story.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
everybody, at least in our crew, has a Tinley Park story.
What's
am
ours?
I right?
Which? Oh yeah. Oh no!
what-
Don't
back
tell
in the
Jessica.
day-
Don't tell Jessica. Don't do it.
Well,
Jessica, by the way,
everybody's-
Jessica's right off
everybody's
camera here.
story is always the same. So everybody from our crew's first Tinley Park story never ended well.
They
Like, it
always throw
never-
up. They
Oh,
always
yeah,
throw up.
yeah,
And
Like
then
the auction
always,
night. Yeah.
If they would make it to Sunday, always late and usually under the table
Yeah,
for the whole
yeah,
thing
yeah.
because you had to be out of the hotel room and you just couldn't be.
Like I'm getting tamer and tamer the older I get. I'll be 50 in December this year, and so like I just keep like figuring out that like that after effect isn't
Oh,
worth quite
dude,
what it used to be.
It's worse the older you get.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
I
that-
tame it. You know,
yeah, that day
all of a sudden
after
you'll see
is
me in the
not
bar drinking
kind.
water now.
So 50 years. It took you
50 years,
49
figure it
years to
out.
figure
Not
out the
100%.
water ratio.
Not 100%, but like I'm better.
I haven't been drunk in I don't know 20
well,
something years.
you're a different bird.
Yeah, I am a
yeah,
different bird.
yeah,
Yeah,
you've never been much of a partier.
I don't like.
Slam
I
that
don't
Ever
like
beer,
since
see what
me.
happens.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I probably passed
I
out
got
and
him
died.
drunk like one of our first dates, like bad.
Yeah, she did the old like, like
She roofied you?
no, yeah, she
pretty
did
much.
the whole like let's drink
different way.
Bacardi and rum, and she was mixing me like 50-50, and she was
And I
drinking
was
straight Coke.
Oh my
You know?
God, he was throwing up behind the garage. He was
Yeah, it was
sick as
bad.
could be.
And she didn't see me drunk like that again for about 18 years, and then she saw me again on.
It was a New Year's.
Is that how
And
you were
there was-
made, Noah?
And there
That's how I
was,
was made.
Your
no,
mother
no,
roofied your father?
Yep.
No, that's
No,
how
not that
Jade
night.
was made. Not
Couldn't
him.
get it up that night.
Whoa, whoa.
It happens. It
That
happens.
was before both of them. No,
But yeah, she's only seen me drunk twice.
but then it was Goldschlager.
Yeah,
that-
and we've
that
been
New
together
Year's.
30-something years.
That was a
Yeah.
bad New Year's for you
It was a
and
bad
Dwayne.
New
Yeah.
Year's,
Damn.
I was one of those guys that woke up in the morning and said, "I'll never drink again," and I didn't.
Yeah.
Like I didn't. I'd have a beer every now and then, but
There
I
is
didn't
that
get
guy.
drunk.
I didn't know that guy
Yes.
existed.
Oh,
That
this
was,
is
I
the
was so
guy.
sick that day that
Yeah.
I was sick for like 3 days.
Yeah.
I was so sick. I was
3?
like,
Yeah.
3 days, dude. I threw up for
That's
3 days, man.
Impeccable.
Yeah, it was bad. So anyways, point is
How
that
did you not die?
I don't know.
I mean, he
But
kind of did
but
for 3
Chewy
days.
used to remember Chewy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He used to come to Tinley with us, and everyone loved buying that guy drinks.
Yeah.
So like he would get so, but he's professional.
But I was gonna
He's
say, yeah,
professional.
he would always like I don't know.
Do you remember Mike from
Yeah, he
Timberline?
had like a reset
Oh, my
button.
God.
Remember Mike from
Yes,
Timberline?
I do.
Oh my god.
So
I missed that guy.
Pennsylvania show, when we had the Pennsylvania show,
yeah,
that bar was
King of
beautiful.
Prussia,
Do you remember
right?
the bar? Yes,
Yeah,
King of
King-
Prussia. Remember how beautiful the bar was?
yeah, I
Yes.
love
Had
that
big
show.
rolling oak
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
You put
yeah.
your hands up on there.
Yeah.
I walk in and he like looks at me and he like pushes back from the thing
Just-
Oh
and
no!
he pukes.
No.
He looks up at me and he's like,
Goes back to drinking.
goes back up.
Takes a drink. Oh my gosh, that's a good guy right there, man.
I was like, oh man.
I tell you what, those Timberline boys, they were partying.
I'm pretty sure the only reason Todd kept him for the last 3 years was because of stuff like that.
The enjoyment,
yeah.
Like
right.
he just loved,
Yeah.
watching Mike.
Yeah, he was a
He was
character.
fun.
That whole group was really. I mean, I'm sure they still are fun, but I mean, Todd was always. Interestingly enough, Todd, away from there, doesn't drink or do anything. Like he's pretty straight laced. I mean, I'm not saying away. I mean, away from
Oh
his
no,
family.
no, no! You're dead on. You're right.
Yeah, with his family, he's
Yes.
very, very reserved.
Do you know
and
his son's
so-
names?
No, what are?
They're all religious names.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
So you really can't be a drunk at home and have sons with religious
Yeah.
names.
You know what's interesting? I don't know, and I love Todd, by the way.
So do I.
You know,
Oh, he's
he's
the best.
one of the greatest guys.
Biggest heart.
but he
does
had-
the most for
oh
the
my
industry
gosh,
at
he's-
the auctions. I
he's
mean,
just
it's
yeah,
crazy.
he's helped us out so many
Yeah.
times. I mean, he's
Yeah.
incredible. Let me tell you a quick Todd story. So I was doing Brian in the Wild with our self-funded documentary where we went to South Africa and shot a bunch of stuff, and so I did a GoFundMe. And so, our goal was to raise 30 grand. We were going to put up, I think that whole thing cost us almost $100,000 between, travel and
Sure.
shooting
All
and
the gear
editing
and
and
shipping.
editing and
Shipping
everything.
gear is like crazy.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think it was
yeah.
like, but
It was
we were like,
crazy.
hey, if we could make 30, maybe we'd, it'd be
would help.
easier. It would help
Sure.
us. So we ended up raising like 40 grand. And then it was the last day. And I had reached out to Todd a couple times, just really polite, like, hey, if you're interested in donating. He's like, oh, yeah, I definitely will. I definitely will. So literally, it was up at like 11, at midnight. 11:59, dude drops $10,000 on it. Damn. $10,000.
And I guarantee you, he knew every minute what time that thing was up, and he
Yeah.
knew long before that
Yeah.
how much he was doing.
Oh, I'm sure he was
He
just
just-
playing it,
Yep.
but he's a great dude, and
Yes.
That's awesome.
but so he has a. Did I ever tell you about his hunting? Have you been to his place?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, so he has a hunting cabin, but it's like
It's made by the W Hotel.
Yeah, no,
No, it is.
Oh, is
like,
it really?
Well, it's not, but like
Right.
the mattresses are from the W.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, yeah.
But it's literally like 15 minutes from his house. So he's got like
Yeah.
a hunting cabin that's like 15 minutes away from his house, and he's like, I mean, it's so crazy to have like, and it's
Sounds
literally
nice,
a
yeah.
beautiful.
Oh,
That's where
yeah.
Ton Jones used to live
Yeah.
almost, because
Yeah.
he'd go out there and stay for a month or something like that. Todd'd be like, yeah, I hope he goes home soon, I mean, it's like, but I could see why, because that place is dope as heck.
Poop.
Liam
Poop.
says, can you say the word poop?
Poop.
You just did it.
Poop.
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 Say it, Lori.
Shit.
Yeah,
Whoa.
Lori's going right to the vault.
Somebody's always got to go right
Toilet
over. Somebody's
tooth.
always got to put it over the top.
Toilet tooth.
I know she's terrible about that, but
Damn.
so the rep. yeah.
I had another comment, but it just got
So the reptile industry.
What is Holly saying?
Nee says WTF.
I loved hearing Brian Potter announce in October that someone stole something from the show. Oh, yeah. That announced there on camera and bring it back. Yeah. No, it was the kid. Or does she mean the story where, remember the kid stole something at the auction?
Oh, I didn't even know this. No.
Oh, yeah.
No,
he was like off. It turned out to be sort of sad because he was like off his meds. It wasn't just a typical shit bomb. It was like a kid that was like literally had problems.
Okay.
Oh.
But still, you know.
So he stole something
Yeah.
from the
A
auction?
bunch of big dudes grabbed him up and like it was fun for a minute until he realized he was like mentally warped. So then it was like, oh man, kind of killed the high.
Yeah. You thought you were going to have fun.
We
with
thought
it,
we were gonna
but
have a really good time.
Light
You know what I mean? And then I'll say
somebody
like, yeah,
All right, just go.
This doesn't work.
It's it's like I said, I think it's cool chatting because we've been there from the beginning, you know what I mean? And I think that's the thing that I wish somehow we could instill some of that experience and knowledge into the newer people, really, because I think they would appreciate how far the hobby has come. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, to them
know.
it's all just go to the store and walk out and you're a breeder.
yeah,
Yeah.
Like you buy a rack system,
yeah.
a temperature
It's all-
controller,
and it's all right there.
a
Just
book,
boom, boom,
a book.
boom,
If it's
boom.
leopard geckos, you buy Robbie Hamper's book
Yeah.
by Eco,
Yeah.
and the whole thing's right in there. I mean, temperatures, everything's in there.
Yeah.
You buy the hatch right off the shelf, so you don't have to go all the way to Home Depot and get
Yeah.
perlite and
Make your own
vermiculite
shit.
and
Put
try
too
to
much
figure it
water.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
put too
And
much
fuck
water
it
in
up
there.
how many times before you
you
figure
just put the
it
hatch
out.
right in there. It's done.
Yeah.
The fucking trays, you can buy the trays to put them in, so you don't have to go to Jewel and buy the the thing. Yeah, it's just different now. I think people don't like, Philippe DeVoe. So when I worked at Reptile Haven, I was in the Marine Corps from 89 to 93, and I was in helicopters, and so I had a lot of time off. I didn't sleep in the field. I didn't do any of that dumb shit. I was smart, so I didn't have to sit in the field like that. Only the dumb guys sit in the field.
Bruce is over there giving him the finger.
And so all my free time, I found Reptile Haven, and I was just like blown away as a kid who grew up like, remember the movie Stand By Me? That was me and my buddies.
Oh yeah.
In the creek and
Yeah.
train tracks and, trying to pile shit on the train tracks to see how much shit the train could break, before
Oh
it
my
derailed.
gosh, wow.
We did the
And
same.
catching turtles and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh.
So I find this Reptile Haven and I'm like, oh my God, this is 1990.
Wow.
So in a store, albino Burmese pythons,
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, 'cause that's
$5,000 bucks. I think they
Yeah.
were 7,500, something like that. 6 foot iguanas, 4 foot fully grown water dragons, males,
Yeah.
all just
Yeah.
green basilisks, fully plumed out adults. Just like the most mind blowing thing for a kid. Like I was just like, this is like the greatest find in the history of the world. I mean,
Right,
like
yeah.
I'm freaking out. So I become friends with Chris. Well, his best friend at the time is Philippe DeVogely.
Oh my gosh, yeah, a legend.
In and out of the store on like a all the time basis is Bob Mayu,
Oh my gosh,
all the guys from San Diego Zoo bringing in
yeah.
whole clutches of green tree pythons, trading for like sandblasted grapevine for the
Yeah.
zoo.
Yeah.
All these different things are going on, and I'm just like watching all this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing. So we go out to dinner at night, me, Chris, Philippe DeVogely,
Oh my god.
and I'm just sitting there and like, every time Philippe puts a book out, I'm buying it at the store. Like,
Yeah.
in the first night I'm reading the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so the next day I'm like to Chris, oh my God, did you see in the book? He's like, I don't read those. And I was like mortified that somebody wouldn't read those. So now I get books in, I just price them, I put them on the thing, and
now
I've
you
never
don't
even
read
looked
them?
inside of it. You know what I mean? Like, and I totally get it. You know what
Now
I mean?
you get it, yeah.
I'm so burnt on most of the stuff that like I don't do it either.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just a change of when you start the hobby and the enthusiasm that you have and who's around you. But for me at the time, Gary Sipperly was in and out of
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, man, like you talk about the who's. It was like
Yeah.
that was when everybody, East Bay Vivarium was just up north there.
Wow, yeah.
Jay Brewer had his place,
Right,
in
yeah.
Fountain Valley there.
Yeah. Still does.
And we would just jump in. I had a little Volkswagen Squareback, and me and my partner Jeff, who I have Chicago Reptiles with, we just jump in that thing, and every weekend we'd be buzzing up, hitting all these stores,
That's awesome.
just
yeah.
looking at stuff,
Yeah.
so geeked. And now, like I see people, and I would at the time never in a million years have thought that I would go on. There was no online,
Right.
but if
Right.
there was, in no way would I ever have gone online and started typing about like being a professional and telling everybody like how to do everything.
Because
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't a
wild.
thing.
And like being like I'm somebody. Like all I did is
Yeah.
my mouth was closed and I listened.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Yeah.
And all around us was these amazing people that birthed this whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, from literally making heat tape and bullshit stuff,
Yeah.
like there wasn't like.
Yeah, like pipe heat tape.
Yeah,
there was
pipe
no. This
tape.
shit didn't
Pipe
exist.
tape,
Like
where
Yeah,
you
pipe
hope to God
Like-
you didn't burn your
Like these guys
place
don't realize,
down.
like this shit didn't exist.
Yeah,
man.
we would literally like take pipe tape and cut the thermostat out so that you could hot wire it to fucking, so it could get hot enough for your snakes, but yet not burn your place down.
Tom Crutchfield and guys like that were international travelers.
Yeah, traveling. They were travelers.
Who's our other guy? God, why can I? He works at Starbucks now, I think. What's his name? You know who I'm talking about.
What state? Give me a state.
Suitcases, lots of suitcases.
Hank Molt.
Hank Molt. Bingo.
Hank Molt.
Suitcases turns into Hank Molt. See that? Like, it's like reptile industry charades. 2 suitcases. Who am I? Hank Molt.
It's crazy.
That's when you know you're old school. When you
Yeah,
know those
yeah.
answers.
But it is funny because like you said, you've got Gary Sipperly. People don't realize Gary Sipperly made the first snake racks ever.
Yeah.
And then Mark Bell ended up like not stealing, but taking the idea and taking it to the modifying to the next level. Because prior to Gary Sipperly, we had those will hold boxes that were plastic with lids, and you would have a rack, but the lid would still be on it. And Gary Sipperly was the first one that made a rack without a lid, which was pretty awesome. What, is your cousin still on there?
No. Sam Gamble. No, dude, it's super cool for you that you can walk into a store and buy that stuff like that and walk out. I love it. In fact, I hope I sold it to you. But what I'm saying is, like, back in the day, like, you couldn't do that. And so you had to respect these older guys and all this knowledge that they were passing on. And now you get a kid who walks into a store, doesn't know anything, and a week later he's on the internet and he's like, you can't do this, you must do this, you can't do that, you can't do that. This is the only way to do this. And it's like, shut up.
I'm sorry, but I'm also going to put in there, starts talking shit about people who have been doing it forever.
Yeah.
When it's like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, like I would read Philippe's books, man, and I was sucking up every little word of knowledge I could get. It was just amazing that this guy would. I wish everybody. It should be like a law that if you want to be in reptiles and you want to like have reptiles, you should have to know who Philippe de Vosgely is. Yeah. Like I love that guy. Like that guy is like.
Well, he was
what he did and what he brought in the natural. The Vivarium magazine. That was him.
Yeah, that was him.
People don't even realize.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was a magazine.
That was a magazine.
Oh, just amazing.
Yeah, that was because it wasn't made for the pet trade. It was made for hardcore people that wanted to learn.
Well, there was no pet trade.
No, there was no pet trade.
There was only hardcore guys. I mean, really. I mean, kinda.
No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you did like we talked about when we first went with Don Hamper's Millersport show. I mean, you weren't selling hardly anything. You were trading stuff, or if you bought something here, you'd sell $50 there and then spend the $50 over there. Never walked out without.
Well, it's like what's the rule of Reptile Show? $10,000 goes in, and $6 million in purchases are made.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah. We never went home with money.
It just circulates the room 500 times.
Yeah. No, it really is true. I mean, I've always said that. I always said that. And listen, I think that everything I have now I owe to reptile breeding. As far as business-wise and stuff like that. I mean, it made us who we are today. But that being said, I always said I never started making money till I stopped breeding snakes for a living.
And I would watch you from afar, and like when you're watching a lot of the guys, the money guys, the Barczyk, the Bell, there's a list of guys. You can see what's happening is you're selling a project out, you get the money, but you have to go buy the next project if you want to remain
relevant.
Relevant.
Yeah.
And if you don't buy the next project, well, then you're just the guy that had that one project 5 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
And who wants to be that guy? Everybody wants to keep going and doing more. It's your business.
I think what it is you have to. Number one, I mean, we still obviously breed reptiles, and we do it because we love it. And I always say it's almost like BHB is more of a hobby to us than it is. I mean, it's a business, and it does well, and it's whatever. But like, that's not our primary income.
You just learned what to do with your money,
right? Yeah, and that's the other thing I've said. Not to degrade anyone that breeds snakes by any stretch, but I've always said. There are very few people in the last 20 years that have bred snakes that have become very wealthy that didn't use their money in another area. You know what I mean? I mean, there are a few.
What I've done with my money that I've made through Reptile House and RBC, things like that, is I've put them into other areas. I try to get many baskets because if you only go with one basket of eggs, eventually somebody crushes your basket, and then you have
that's
more
what we
baskets.
talked about.
And I think that's smart, honestly, in any business.
In any business, exactly, any business.
And that's what we've done.
Mark Bell is, people, Reptiles has been great to him. I mean, there's no doubt. but
Not as
real
much
estate has been
right?
65,000 times better for him.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with us when we could, have multiple revenue streams. All of a sudden, the reptiles didn't matter. And the thing that's nice about that for me, liberating for me, is that now we can make decisions about reptiles that don't have to do with finances. We can buy projects, or let's say if we miss the odds on a clutch, before I might have wanted to shoot myself. Now it's like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Because no longer that income isn't like, you've cut clutches of eggs by yourself where you're like, holy shit, this could be a $50,000 clutch or it could be a $2,000 clutch.
No. There's been no $50,000 clutches at my place. Let's not bullshit around.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of, there's so many things. Remember Greg Chip?
I just was texting him an hour ago.
Oh my gosh.
Really?
Are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
serious?
Yeah, he owns a Kia dealer and Hyundai dealer. So if anybody wants to buy a Kia or Hyundai, call Greg Chip in the Northwest Indiana area.
Yeah, gosh, I
That's
remember because
funny.
he
I
was
haven't
another
heard
one that
his
like
name
came in,
forever.
spent a ton of money, and then was gone pretty
Yeah.
quick.
His
And that's
dad was
happened
like the first bone cutter heart surgeon.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Yeah. They call his dad was pretty famous. Like Jeff and I, my partner, we got new insurance one time at Reptile House, and they came and drove blood at the store. And I brought up Gerald Chip, and they go, "Oh, that's the bone cutter. He's like the first bone cutter. Like he's like one of the more famous heart surgeons. Like retired now, but
well, obviously,
but big money at the time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like big time guy.
Yeah, I just remember there's been so many of those money guys. As a matter of fact, Kevin from Nerd texted me today, and we know the story, but we'll have you tell it about the guy that I think came. I think the guy came to the auction with Kevin, big like money guy, young guy, and it involved a pizza box.
Oh, LASIK. The story was that his dad invented LASIK eye surgery.
Right, that was the story.
I don't think it ended up turning out to be the real deal.
Right. Yeah, I think he was acting like he had a lot of money.
And I don't think he did. Yeah.
Right. But so then you decided to do something nice to him.
So
The infamous.
So one time Wayne had me do his auction.
Yeah, one time.
It was one of those deals where I ruined it and won't be doing it again.
Yeah, you're not welcome back.
So Kevin and I, he's like, "Oh, why don't you do my auction? Get it rolling and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, no problem, Wayne. I like Wayne. I got no problem with Wayne." It's like, people want to make out like show promoters as like competitors.
Yeah.
Right.
You're really not. I mean, if you did one the same weekend, it'd be one thing, but no one really does that. So, but whatever. So there's no issue. Wayne, Wayne gives a fuck about me. I give a fuck about Wayne.
Right.
So Wayne comes and we do it, and so we go in, and somehow I'm with Kevin, and we're drinking because at Wayne shows I would get fucking rocked all the time, like rocked, and so. No table, no nothing, no. So we go in and there's a pizza box. Kevin's like, shit in this pizza box. And I'm like, why? And he's like, we're going to auction it. I'm like, all right. So I take the pizza box. It was a Domino's box. It was Domino's or Little Caesar. I think it was Domino's.
It was Domino's.
So
I think it was Domino's,
So I go in there and I drop a little turdlet in there, close it back up, hand it to Kevin, and we go in. And so we're up there. And so Kevin's like, man, we're gonna hype up this pizza box as like a surprise mystery thing. And so the whole time we're talking about, oh man, it's a mystery thing, and like it's gonna just surprise you like crazy. You're gonna think it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And so this kid is out there and he's like geeked up.
Hell yeah.
I think he paid like I don't know, maybe
it was like $5,000 or something, wasn't it?
maybe $3,500,
Yeah, I thought
$5,000.
it was like $5,000.
That,
yeah.
Jesus.
And so he goes in and he gets it. And so we're up there and we're doing our thing. And so I'm like, who knows who Mr. Hanky is? And so then all of a sudden, so Wayne is sitting in the front row and I'm standing here looking down, and Wayne's there and Wayne's wife is next to him. And she leans over and she goes, I don't get it. And Wayne leans in and he goes, they shit in the box. And he's like, fucking pissed, man. He's pissed.
Oh, he's mad.
And I'm like, Kevin, it's not going good. It's not going good. It's not going good. I'm like, Wayne's fucking pissed, man. He's pissed. And Kevin's like, no, just we're good. Don't worry about it. We're good. I'm like, dude, he's fucking pissed. And so we like scurry off the stage, after that, and we ran off, and then they gave the kid the money back and everything.
Oh, they gave him money back?
Wayne said it was like Wayne was not having it. And he's like, I don't want to get sued and all this, and he was all flipping out about it.
Oh
so,
my
whatever.
God.
That's crazy.
So that was that.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a good. Like I said, Kevin.
I blame all that on Kevin.
That was Kevin's fault.
He made me do all that.
Yeah,
Nobody's surprised.
Okay.
Well, he is the devil.
But you're the perfect one. Like, if you're going to try to get someone to go for it.
I might not do it these days. Back in the day, I was maybe a little more gullible.
Gullible.
With enough booze in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably do it again. I'd probably do it.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's like I said, it's just been a wild run if you think about from the early '90s all the way to today how different things are. It's but I don't think it's all bad. I think a lot of it's great. I mean, I think the internet is I always say the best thing that happened to the reptile world was the internet, and the worst thing that ever happened to the reptile world was the internet.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
It was like living through the gold rush, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Because like, man, it was like everybody was like. What I liked about it is there was our group, which was young.
Yeah.
And I was on the youngest end of the group, and so I was kind of watching. I really wasn't in the group. I was nobody. I was just there, you know. But I knew everybody. But I wasn't in the group. I wasn't a big breeder. I wasn't, I wasn't any of those people, you know. And then there was the group above them, the Trumbauers, the Dick Gergens, the Don Hamper.
Yeah, Hamper.
God, who else?
Gosh, like you said, Sipperly, Lloyd Lemke.
Ray Van Nostrand, you know.
Yeah, Van Nostrand.
Old man. The old man, you know, was there.
Man,
and God, I remember the first year we had NARBC, maybe the first 3 years, Mario was a vendor.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So if you watch Tiger King, you know who Mario is.
Yeah. That was before he ever chopped the guy up.
No, that was after.
That was after.
that was after.
That's when he got out. That's right.
Yeah.
I remember when he got out. He had Extreme Reptiles, it was called.
Yes.
No, it was Reptile 2000 or something.
Was it
Reptile 2000 or Reptile 10,000? It was Reptile and some number, and I don't know what the hell that was.
All right, interesting.
So Mario, and he was terrifying, right? Like
he is terrifying.
Terrifying because he's Cuban, and he's got these fucking
it's shark eyes.
Dark brown, beautiful eyes that
right
will just kill you
it's like,
and make you a little Cuban coffee.
It's like and by the way, Mario is a friend of mine.
Yeah.
I love Mario. He's treated us great every time we go down there.
Yeah, please don't kill me, Mario. I love you.
No. We go down and hang out with him.
No, I know.
He's always super, super good. But he is that guy that when you look at him, he's like, I will stab you in the eye.
He looks right through you when he talks to you. He's like a tiger. He's like a tiger.
I always say shark. It's like he's got the emotionless eyes of
I
know.
I respect that. Like if I see somebody like that, I'm like, all right.
Oh yeah,
Like,
but no one, everyone knew his story. Like, the crazy thing is on Tiger King, he's just like, they chopped him up in like 7 pieces, and it was on my property. So like, what was I gonna do? Say I didn't know about it? He's like, he was just like so casual about it.
Yeah, just so casual. He's like,
what
am I gonna say? That I wasn't there when they took the chainsaw to his neck.
Yeah, like something like that. It was just like, so I just did my 10 years and I'm good. It's like no big deal. Yeah, like and so it's funny because like I'll tell people about my friends. Like I'm like, oh yeah, So Tiger King comes out, and I'm like, yeah, that Cuban guy? Like, I know him.
Yeah.
I'm like, the guy that cut the guy, the whole guy up and all that. I'm like, that guy. And people like, I think they look and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, are you crazy? Yeah. I mean, we watched that, and we know a lot of the players that were in there.
Yeah.
It was very surreal watching it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
well, Tommy's in the first opening scene. There's Tommy standing there. I'm like,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Make sure the reptile industry takes a hit on this too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally, I was waiting for the backlash.
Right,
I'm not lying.
Yeah, that's a character though in himself, Tommy. Just his life. I mean, could you imagine?
Beautiful hair, Karen Williams. I'll keep this on track. Don't you worry.
Liam just said that.
Don't worry,
it was
Karen.
awesome
I'm watching all this. I see what they don't see.
Liam just said that it was great.
you,
That
Brian.
what happened here? Offline connection. Try again. Huh, that's interesting. I wonder if we're online with
Just keep speaking.
Yeah, let's just see if we're still live. Yeah.
Let's have them worry.
Yeah, so we're
about
still
it.
going. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. All right, so for some reason we can't do the super chats, or maybe they're back up. I have no idea if they're up or not.
Hey, it's not my cousin Kim. We're not related. See, it's not my cousin Kim.
Damn.
There's another Kim King.
It's one
Really?
of those cousins that aren't your cousin, but they are.
Or it's my real cousin, and she just doesn't want anybody to know we're related.
I don't blame you, Kim.
probably.
I would say
It's
I'm
all
not
right,
his
Kim
cousin,
King.
too. Yeah.
Kim
Kimberly.
King.
Now I'm gonna have to ream out my real cousin for not having my back.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
But
not
could you-
supporting you.
But could you imagine knowing like the truth like from Tom Crutchfield? Like really knowing what happened throughout all those years. I mean, the 60s and 70s and 80s and stuff like that. Could you imagine how crazy that
Just fly him up here. He'll tell you.
Yeah.
No,
he
we
probably
need to
would.
have him on
That
the
is
pod.
true.
No
That would be
problem.
Quite the podcast.
That would
I'll
be
come up
cool.
when Tommy's here. I would love to. Tom cracks. He kills me, man. He's got my Gila Monster collection now.
Really?
Yeah, I have a shitload of them. The ones that Eric Kreider didn't kill.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's, oh god. Well, you guys keep talking. I'm checking just to make sure that we're online here, guys. You guys keep talking.
Think about how crazy it is that I had to take animals from Eric Kreider, send them to Tom Crutchfield to get treated and nursed
Yeah,
back
we're
to
good.
health,
We're
and now
still-
they're all breeding.
Yeah, and we're still on.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Again, that's just part of it, right? Because we've done the same thing. We've done like loans. We've done different things, and sometimes shit works out, and sometimes it's really bad.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Yeah, breeding loans are something we don't do very often anymore because we've been on the bad end of most of them.
Someone always is. Right?
Yeah. Someone always gets the bad end, and when you're the nice guy, usually
Yeah,
you're the one that
exactly.
gets
And
the bad end.
unfortunately, I'm married to the nice guy. I'm not. I'm not the nice girl, but I'm married to the nice guy.
That's why it's a yin and the yang. You know what I mean?
It is.
You have to.
But the yang has taken over, and we're not nice anymore.
Yeah,
Somebody just asked for a Jeff Ronnie story.
a Jeff Ronnie story.
I think I saw that further down.
Dude, who's Jeff Ronnie?
Jeff Ronnie is a BOA guy, and I don't think that we're like up
The
to
BOA
date on that
file.
at all, right?
Maybe,
Are we up to date?
These are,
What's
this one right here you can read. This is a
All right, this is a new one. So that's Christine, who I messed up her first super chat because I was zoning. Says, people don't realize that breeding reptiles is not something that ends with eggs, hatchlings, or litters being born, and now it's gone. Oh, there it goes.
You have females slug out or even die, and be prepared to spend more money than make.
Yeah, I think that's the
Sure.
thing, right? I mean, you can do well in the reptile world, but most people don't. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Me and you have seen a unbelievable carnage of people that have lost all their money. You know what I mean?
I don't know if they're even just being a kid observing the scene. Like I've seen it. Like
Yeah.
even just like young people come in and I'm listening and I hear the whispers. Ooh, this kid's got a lot of money. This kid's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's just milk dry and he's dead and he's no.
Well, that's the thing,
longer
right?
around.
I think that 20 years ago there was so much money getting put into the industry, and then now each year maybe one or two people come in, right? Like Robin from the hockey player, he came
Yeah.
in and everyone's like, oh,
Leonard?
money, yeah, got to buy, get him, and then when Miguel from Always Evolving Pythons
Sure.
came in, everyone was like, oh, money,
Yeah.
so now there's a lot less people that are there, so everyone's kind of attack mode, and that's one of the things that I like about our life is that we literally, if someone calls me up seriously, again, I am not against investment animals. I'm not against people trying to breed for money. Not at all. I'd be a hypocrite if I was. But when someone calls me and says, I want to invest X amount of dollars, blah, 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 I don't want to talk about it. Like it's up to you if you want to try, but I don't sell animals as an investment.
As an investment.
I don't sell them, period.
Which the truth is you could still buy a pair of pastels and make money.
Oh my gosh, you could, yeah.
Like,
any-
the money's there, but it's just most people don't have, I think, the fortitude to do it.
Yeah, and you've got to stick with it.
Stick with
You
it
got to
and
stick with it.
Be
'cause-
smart about it and market yourself. Like, look at the guys who have popped up that are like marketing wizards.
Yeah. Miguel's done great like that.
There you go.
He went from nothing to being one of the top
Top
dogs in 3 years.
Yeah.
And he's crushing it. Every time he produces snakes, he's got people standing in line to buy them.
I mean, he was just over at Ozzy's house, hanging out with Ozzy Osbourne, selling him a snake.
I know.
It's
He was texting, calling me while he was over there. I hated him. I was like, you dick. He literally texts me and he's like, guess where I am? And I just see like gold records, platinum records or
Yeah, I
whatever
saw that
behind.
shot
and I
on the
was like,
staircase.
Crazy,
Yeah.
Like,
because
what?
Obviously, like you've been a fan since you were a kid of him.
I saw a gem show with high security, and this lady went off on the camera guy, said something people don't want videos because their gems may not be all legally obtained. Do you have security attendant? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do. Overnight security, cops with guns.
But the good news is that I don't think that
Guns.
I think that the smuggling side of reptiles is overblown.
Well, it's over now. There's
yeah.
nothing to smuggle.
That's
why
what
would
I was
you?
going to say.
what would
Those
you-
days are long
There's
gone.
nothing-
Well, that's why I mean,
Yeah.
because you'll still see the U.S. Fish and Wildlife saying like it's $100 million a year.
Probably
business or
going to
something
China
like
to
that.
make like things that make your dick hard.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
but not us. Like I can't. Like if you came to me and said, Brian, your life depends on telling me one person that's done something illegal in the last 10 years, I wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to find one
Right.
person.
Same here.
But yet I
Like
think
they
there's
think.
It's
No,
not,
they think.
it's not needed anymore.
Do you remember
Back
when they?
in the day?
Do you remember when they busted?
Yeah.
What was that kid's name? Friend of Russ Gurley's at the Texas show. He didn't have like a permit. It was like something really stupid.
Okay, I don't remember.
And they get him in this little room and they're like, "Tell us what's really going on in that room, Rusty.
Oh, God.
Tell us what we don't know." They were sweating him like he was like a Russian spy. It was crazy. I go up to the guy that's like talking to him and I'm like, "Hey man, I run the show." He's like, "What do you want? Stand back." And I'm like, "Easy, tough guy." I'm like, "It's my show. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
calm down,
Yeah.
MacGyver."
The prices are really high.
He-
There's price
yeah.
gouging going
No,
on.
he was seriously like he tells Rusty, he goes, "Tell me what we don't know what goes on in that room. Tell me."
I'd say the only illegal thing that goes on is maybe price fixing a little bit,
Right,
like you did at the bar before. Don't sell that for under
Right.
$10. You know,
Yeah.
That might be the only illegal thing that happens at that show. But well, maybe some other things that have nothing to do with reptiles might be illegal too. But I'm not sure. I stay away from those groups. But,
That VIP room.
that VIP room does some crazy stuff in there. But yeah, it's but I think that it's for a long time, I think it's been that way, where I think that there's this idea that reptile people are black marketers, but I just don't think, maybe back in the Crutchfield days, right?
Oh man, back
know?
in those days, I mean,
Yeah.
Hank Molt and Tom Crutchfield.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
made, Ed
they were-
Salavaki.
Oh yeah, Celebucky,
yeah.
Celebucky.
Yeah, Salavaki.
I remember
He
him
was
from
part
the
of that
old
little crew too. Yeah,
Columbus
oh for
days.
sure.
Yeah, all those guys. And then there was a guy, I remember what was that, Wolfgang? Remember, he got busted not too long ago, maybe, well, about 10
He was trying to
years
come
ago.
into Orlando and got nailed and was running down the highway at the toll booth. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then the German government ended up getting him back because they were so upset that the American government put him in jail. They're like, he's in jail for a snake,
Yeah.
like for Bismarck ring pythons, and I think he spent about a year, and then the German government got him back, extradited him back, and just let him loose.
Yep.
It was like, you got nothing.
Yep.
You know,
I'm watching what's that show? Locked Up Abroad one day. You know,
Oh,
lay on the
gosh,
couch,
yeah.
and there's Tommy.
Tom, yeah,
His
yeah,
story.
I love it,
That's awesome. Just-
and I love the fact that he was like,
You're like, yeah, I know that guy.
yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that because he was like, he's like telling a story about like smuggling king cobras in or something like that, and he's like, yeah, they were so like talking about the fish and wildlife. He's like, they're so stupid. I've got them in my duffel bag, and I'm just walking through security, and he goes, and they're questioning me, and they're right in my duffel bag, you know. And
So Don Hamper, you know, who passed
yes,
a couple years back now. I think it's been.
has it been that long.
I think it's
Wow.
been at least 2 years now.
Wow,
I'm guessing
that's
right around
crazy,
there.
Yeah.
But anyway, great guy, and
Yeah.
he's at Fish and Wildlife one day, and they're going through one of his boxes, and so the guy pulls out a book, and he's like looking up the stuff in the book, pictures, right?
In one
And he's pointing at the picture, and he's going, "Look right here." And Don goes, "Yeah, you see that name right under there, D. period Hamper? That's me."
Yeah, that's,
And the guy's like, "Oh, okay."
yeah.
Yes, I remember very, very fondly my days of importing and exporting, and
Oh, we hated it. It was so bad.
You know, and that's, you know, whatever. I know these people are doing their jobs, and for the most part, our fish and wildlife agents,
Yeah, they were pretty
were
good.
nice
Yeah.
enough.
They're pretty
And
good.
honestly, I was educating them like they didn't
Yeah.
know. You know,
Yeah, when we had the local one, Carmen,
Yes.
she was great.
She was super
fantastic.
nice because
when you
it
went through
was like-
Chicago, a little bit different story.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
just a little more edgy and
Yeah.
like they're
Little more
trying to
dicks.
bust you.
But yeah, but no, it's funny because that's the whole thing. Like, you know, we've been doing it already for how long, and then these are fresh out of the whatever, like trying to get their first bust.
Yeah,
on
right. Oh,
something,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, no, this.
I mean, I get it.
is
You're supposed to do
this.
your
Like,
job
yeah.
to like, you know, you gotta make your job. You know, what do you call that? Like
Yeah.
Validate it.
Validate your job. You have to validate your job.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
no,
it's crazy.
honestly, it's really not necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, again, I think that they need to they got a budget. You know, DOJ gives them a budget, and if they're not using their budget, then they're
Then
going to
their job
lose their
goes away.
they're
Yeah.
going to lose their budget because it's like, wait a second, there aren't a million criminals in the
Right.
reptile world. Wait a second here, you know.
Yep.
And so, but that's why we're just so straight now. I can't even take a risk. You know, like Scott Smith, as a matter of fact, called me up this morning, and he was like, "Hey, I've got a guy that just hatched some radiated tortoises. Would you want one?" And I was like, no, I don't even want to touch that.
Yeah,
I don't even want to touch it. Yeah, maybe it's 100% legit.
But maybe it's not.
But
you
if
know?
it's not,
Yeah.
I'm the guy they want to bust.
Sure.
Yep.
You know, I mean, they want to put me. So why would I want to take it? And this is what I told him, quite frankly, too, is in our world, as much as I would like a radiated tortoise or a star tortoise, the guy that walks through the Reptarium door is going to think a leopard tortoise just as cool. They don't know the
or
difference.
a sulcata or
Yep.
anything else. They
Yeah.
don't know the
Yeah.
difference. A
Yeah.
tortoise is a
Yeah,
tortoise.
tortoise is
yeah.
a
Yeah.
tortoise, and that's our world these days.
Yep.
You know, we don't need to have the rarest,
Yeah.
wildest stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and
Doesn't matter.
we just want the show-stopping stuff. I mean, a two-headed snake is going to be way more impressive than
Than a rare tortoise.
a
Yep.
rare tortoise.
We've
yeah.
got Matilda, our
Yep.
Aldabra,
Yeah.
who's amazing, and that's
She's
good
awesome.
enough. Yep.
yeah.
Oh, she was awesome. I'll just tell a quick story today. Bruce was there. It was so cool.
yeah.
So she's funny, and you know she's real shy. And lately she's been real moody and whatever. So I come in there today, and she was actually out. and like looking
nice.
like right at me, you know, not facing the wall or
Right.
whatever. And I was like, oh, hey, Matilda. And I go up to the thing. I'm like, how are you doing, girl? I was like, what are you doing? And she immediately like looks at me, and then she like stands right up and like sticks her neck out and starts like coming forward. I'm like, you want some food? And she's like, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, they are cool tortoises.
No, your place is awesome. I mean, for those of you that haven't been here, the place is just awesome. I mean, for you know, especially if you're you don't have a lot of reptiles or you don't have a store near you where you can see stuff. You come here, you're gonna be blown away. Like
Yeah,
really
we you know, we're just about experiences, right? You know, I
Yeah.
mean, like, you know, we wanted to create something that was, you know, nowhere else, you know, and there's a lot of reptile zoos and a lot of great reptile zoos that I love to go to, you know, whether it's Jay's Place or you name the reptile zoo, I love going to all of them. But we wanted to create something where, and you may or may not know this, but like 80% of the animals here can come out when people are here. So we take stuff out. Like that's all we do all
People
night
can
is
hold
take people.
them,
Yeah,
people
hold
can-
them.
yeah.
You can feed alligators. You can, you know, I mean, I don't know of anywhere else in the world you can go and hold an albino alligator
sure.
without a tape mouth. Or, well,
Yeah.
even with the tape mouth, I don't think you can hold an albino alligator anywhere else. But we want that immersive experience, and it's been. I'll be honest with you. I've told people I didn't know if it was going to work. You know, I didn't know in the beginning
Well,
if it was
we've
going to work.
created the place you wished was there when you
Yeah,
were a kid.
yeah, you talked about like, you know, like Reptile Haven when you were 20. Like this was my dream when little Brian was 5 years
Sure.
old.
Yeah.
This is where I'd want to go.
Yeah.
And that's what we get. Like we get local people that are
That-
just like here almost every
Yeah.
weekend because these kids are the reptile lovers and this is like their heaven and they're like, this is so cool and this is what I love.
Yeah.
And we're able to get like they can't have them
Oh,
at home,
yeah,
but
man,
they can
it's-
come here and they can interact with them and
Yeah.
see them, and so it's just awesome to be able to, you know, supply that to people.
Just-
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like
it's-
Bob. You know, Bob did the same thing with
Oh,
his
dude,
place.
his
you know,
place is awesome.
You know, he's been, you know, he's a rattlesnake guru. That's his
Yeah.
thing. Is
Yep.
his happy place. You know, he's up in the mountains running around like a billy goat all the time. And
Yeah.
his place, he has like every rattlesnake that,
Yeah, we still have to
that
get
every rattlesnake that you'd want to have, he has it. I mean,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
breeding.
he has almost everything. Yeah,
Yeah, he's everything.
I've only been there once, but Lori has not been yet, and I certainly
think I've
want to
been
go.
either.
I mean,
No, you
I
haven't.
yeah, I want to go so bad. It's. I'm sorry, Jay. You good?
Yeah.
Where was
Okay,
it?
cool, cool. All right, cool. I just didn't know. I just wanted to make sure we're still going here.
Was
We're
it?
still
Oh.
going, brother.
All right,
Just
cool.
pay attention.
Where was
yeah,
the
I
place?
don't know. Oh, this is
Where's
in
this place at?
it's
Portal, Arizona.
Portal, Arizona. It's
Arizona?
called the
Oh.
Chiricahua
it's
Desert
Chiricahua
I've never
Desert,
been
yeah.
to Arizona. I've been wanting to go for a
So
long
he's on
time.
like
Such-
the New Mexico, Arizona border.
Yeah, right in Rodeo,
on
New
the-
Mexico.
should
He's
go.
actually, I think his place is actually in Rodeo, New
Yeah.
Mexico. But
Portal's right across the street.
Portal is literally, I've literally walked
You walk
across the street.
Yeah.
to,
You
go from
to
one state to
Arizona.
the other
Yeah,
on-
because
on-
Jeff
on
is
his-
in Portal, right?
Yeah,
And they're like,
yeah.
yeah.
You
I
walk
think
across the dirt road.
does Bob live in Portal or does he?
He technically lives in. I can never remember which is which, but yeah. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
all right
He
there.
lives
And it-
right there.
But what's crazy about that town
It's
is
20 feet. Like to
number
be
one, that
upstate.
is so Portal, Arizona, whether it's New Mexico or not, doesn't matter. Is really the reptile
It's the-
retirement fund is what that is. Like everyone that does reptiles retires to
Gary
Portal.
Sipperly lives there now.
Yeah, Gary
Does
lives
he
there.
really?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Is that where
Yeah.
you're planning on moving?
I wouldn't
No.
mind. I seriously wouldn't
Brian
mind.
will have a place there. That
I
he'll
wouldn't
go.
mind. It's a beautiful
But
place.
no.
The only problem is there is nothing to do there.
Dude.
Well, you've got
Nothing.
the museum.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. And
And
Jeff
there's a
G.
cafe, right?
Yeah,
there's
no,
a cafe
I think
that
Jeff G has a restaurant
Oh
now.
man, they
right?
built a
Restaurant.
beautiful building, man. I mean, like it's crazy how
And
nice
I
a
think
building they
there's
built.
like a movie theater or something.
Yeah,
No,
Bob,
they're-
Bob owns that. It's McAfee's old place.
Yeah, so that's
They own the whole.
So what
city.
happened is McAfee,
yeah, McAfee, the
antivirus software guy, moved there, and then he left. He left out of there in a hurry.
And there's
because
an
he,
airport,
like- he, like,
right?
went
Didn't
crazy.
he build an airport? and
Yeah, he's
stuff?
kind of crazy. He built this airport for like the little ultralights and all that to fly in there and all that, put up hangars and all that stuff. And then Bob bought it all for like 5 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
And so basically,
yeah, the hotel,
there's
all
like
kinds
yeah,
of
there's all kinds of weird stuff. It's a ghost town. I mean, it's like there's nothing there.
There
Like,
is literally like
fucking owns it all.
yeah,
there's
'cause-
nothing there.
yeah, because I
mean,
remember Pete Call was talking about buying. There was like a house, all like airport
Yeah.
hangars. It was like 120 grand or something
Yeah.
like that. from this-
What?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's anyway. So
and
it's
then
all
I think
there.
Bob ended up buying
Bob
it.
did. Yeah, he bought.
Bob's like, I'll take
He
it.
he
Yeah.
didn't. I don't think he got the airport. I think somebody else bought the airport. But anyway, whatever. He's got all these different this stuff. So McAfee leaves, and he leaves all these structures, you know.
Right.
So there's some nice stuff there, but I mean, there's not one stop sign, there's not one stoplight.
No,
I mean,
you're in the
you
like,
blink, it's
yeah,
gone.
Yeah, and I mean, you might get one bar
And so
of Wi-Fi.
there's a
in that
couple
place,
reasons
yeah.
why people go there, though. The highest amount of hummingbirds in the world goes through that canyon coming up from Mexico, and they migrate through there.
Okay.
So birders come in by the busload.
Yeah,
so
got
that's
it.
how Bob makes money, is on these buses
Yeah,
of
the
these
birders.
birders
Cool.
coming in. And then the night sky there's no light pollution. I'm staying at Bob's house one day, and we're drinking out just by the pool, and I look up and I go, the fuck is that?
That's
Milky Way?
crazy.
The Milky Way,
It was the Milky Way.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what it was. I'm like, the fuck is that?
I
I'm like,
know.
What? Yeah.
We got to do this.
I saw that. I
We
saw
gotta
that
it's
do
in-
it.
unbelievable.
When I was in Africa, I saw the Milky Way for the first time, and it was
You're like,
crazy.
wait, what? Like,
Yeah, like you can see the Milky Way. Like
yeah, in
it's a-
Chicago, like between the gunfire and the smog, you can't see any of that.
Yeah.
You know?
There's like,
No.
ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding.
It is. But I
Are those
can
shooting
under-
stars? No, just bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can
They
definitely
watch them.
understand why people would want to go out there to retire. I just think I would go nuts. I don't think I could.
He
I
bought a
could-
house in Tucson. What does that tell you?
Yeah, exactly. But in Tucson's not that far away. 2-hour
Phoenix, drive,
a
basically.
couple hours. Yeah, it's not that far from Phoenix. So it's but it is beautiful. I mean, it's it's unbelievable out there. And Laura and myself been saying we're going to go out there soon, and hopefully we will. Maybe when all this mess is done, we can make a trip out there.
I mean, if
Arizona
nobody's
is
out
like one
there-
of my. What's that?
If nobody's out there, we should just go now.
Exactly.
now, yeah.
You know there's no.
Oh,
nobody.
there's definitely 0 cases in
Exactly.
Portal. I can guarantee you that.
No, there is.
What?
Yeah, they had it.
What?
yeah.
Of course they did. They
Bob
all
was
did.
talking
More-
shit, and I was
more
like,
of
oh, look at that, look at that,
Fuck.
look
More
at
of
that.
those didn't get tested but got a positive result.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's crazy.
Yo,
Yeah.
Brian, just so you know, everything's back and running. Super chats are going.
Okay, cool. We're back up with super chats and everything. So let Roses burn. Say
Yes.
again.
Rip some.
Sorry, didn't mean smuggling. I meant. Whoop! I lost. no,
Well, hold on.
lost it.
Somebody's in Potterhead, Minnesota.
Retracted.
Damn,
I want to live in.
somebody
I want to live in
Okay.
Potterhead.
Oh yeah,
Potterhead, Minnesota.
Yeah, they comment all the time.
They were just here last weekend.
Oh, they were here last
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
wanna be the
right.
mayor there.
It was cool to actually.
Wouldn't that be
put
awesome?
a
Oh
face
my
to
gosh,
the name. Yeah.
Mayor Potter of Potterhead.
Yeah. Mayor Potter of Potterhead. That would be perfect.
That would be good.
Why are you not moving
Yeah.
there now?
Exactly.
I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah.
Should.
But anyways, it's
I feel like you'd win that election.
Yep.
So who?
How
So
mu- I mean,
so
yeah.
how many? So you've got Jeff G, Bob Ashley,
Gary Sipperly.
Gary Sipperly,
Barney is right behind Bob. Barney the bug guy.
right? Barney the Bug Guy.
Um,
I've heard of several other people though.
Yeah,
that bought, I
yeah.
don't think everyone lives there, but I think a lot of people like bought land there.
Right.
Seattle people,
don't
help
the
me out.
Loves?
Seattle.
Do Bill and
Yeah,
Kathy
he's
Loves
close.
have
Yeah,
place?
Kathy and Bill and Kathy Love are close.
Yeah.
The people from Seattle, they own Bean Farm.
Oh, Giovanni.
They bought stuff there.
Ah,
I think
yeah.
they've land there from Bob. They bought
And
it.
that's what I've heard.
feel
I've heard a lot of
Bob
people-
has reached out to all
Oh,
of
yeah.
the like, come to Portal.
Yeah, there's like an energy, like
Yeah.
the force. The
Bob's
force.
trying to get people to move
the
there so he doesn't have to
reptile
leave.
Yeah, he's like, this place sucks so bad, but if I can get enough people,
to come here.
it won't be as bad.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, but he puts on. I mean, dude.
He's doing all kinds of
dude's
events
doing
there.
all kinds of shit,
Yeah,
man.
he's got his little museum. Then he's next door to that. He's got his event center. So he's like doing like Gila Monster little meetings and like just all these little tag meetings, different things he's doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I know he had like an amphitheater for bands. Now that's probably not happening, but you know,
This is just the weirdest thing I'm listening to. He just got all this stuff.
this dude
just-
like he's like he's like Walt Disney of Portal, Arizona. Is what it is.
I gotta go see
You know?
this shit.
He's got like a 20-foot fucking rattlesnake,
yeah,
tail.
Tell,
and-
What?
tell but
Yeah.
the big Tell Hicks did
yeah,
that. You know,
yeah, big Gila monster, like a
Oh,
20-foot
fucking
Gila
Tell
monster.
Higgs.
he did like
Yeah.
a
Get bunch of
mosaic
his
on the
stuff.
ground
Yeah.
and stuff. Really neat
It's,
stuff. yeah.
I mean, like legitimately, I will say, like,
It's Bob's little dream all built up.
yeah, it's right. Just like I built the Reptarium is my dream. That's Bob's dream.
Yeah.
Yep.
The only thing I can say is Bob's dream is much cleaner as far as like. I mean, it just looks like
Pristine.
pristine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
Because
it's
that's
it's
Bob.
so good.
it's
man.
very
Museum.
municipality
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah, yeah.
Like somebody owns it. Like nobody owns it. Like a government does it.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
that,
I think
yeah.
so. He's got a hell of a gift shop too.
And now
that
he's
guy
got-
the gift shop.
Now his
guy.
new thing is he's all hooked on buying this Billy the Kid shit.
Really?
Oh man, he's like buying up
Billy
like
the Kid.
not. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe I lied. Maybe it's actually an Indian. But somebody
Geronimo is close.
Geronimo. That's
yeah,
who it
'cause
is.
Geronimo's
Billy Kid
right-
Geronimo's kind of
Yeah,
same,
yeah,
No,
yeah,
not at all, but go ahead.
but different. Same but different. So yeah, he's got like
One's in India.
he's buying like all of his stuff. Like he's got
Yeah.
crazy like
Yeah,
bow
'cause-
and arrows that were supposedly his, and family people are reaching out. All these
so
old
this
people.
is his personal, or is this
Yeah,
in the
no.
museum?
Well, it's
both.
Well, in the museum, there's like a huge Native American artifact.
It's called the Geronimo Event Center.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
because
so he
Geronimo,
started-
what Geronimo's
Gotcha.
last
Surrendered.
stand was like half mile or half hour away, 30 minutes away or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I drove by it. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so Bob's been buying all this stuff related to Geronimo. Like, just
Wow.
he can't stop. He's like, I'm just fucking hooked on it. So he keeps buying stuff, and so he's got a really neat
I
collection
get it.
of all
I'm
this cool
married
stuff.
to one of those. I get
Yeah. Well, yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, this one must be for me again. It's to Brain.
Brain.
All right, brain.
Go for
Who
it.
was your reptile inspiration? If it is for me,
Okay,
it would
Brain, what is it?
would be Chris Estep at Reptile Haven, who like just
Yeah.
taught me just like from day one, like the business side of it. And
Mine was Mark Bell. You know, Mark Bell was
Sure.
my mentor.
yeah,
You know, and,
sure.
and you know,
All the Michigan
yeah.
kids, right? I mean, all the Michigan.
yeah, I think well, there was a who was the guy before Mark that was Mark's mentor?
Oh my God, I know who.
Ernie Wagner.
No, well, Ernie was definitely one, but I'm talking there was a Michigan guy that not Dan Malone, but another guy that was around. Anyways, Mark kind of was like that was his mentor, and then ultimately Mark was like the next guy, and then yeah, like you said, at one point there was a whole host of Michigan guys. You know,
Yeah.
that I mean, all kinds of guys in Michigan that were like. Yeah, we all would go over Mark's house every weekend. We all were buying. I mean, it was great for Mark because he had like a little cult of guys that would just spend all money.
Yeah.
You know, like every time he hatched something, he'd be like,
He's sold out. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
he's
all
like-
of us would
"Yeah, 'cause
buy
we
it.
go- I want to buy it before him."
I want, yeah. And you,
Can I get the
you
first one?
You
I'll pay
wouldn't want
more.
one. I want a 10.10. I'll take everything. I'll take the whole clutch, please. Take
Yeah,
all
that's
my
what.
money.
Well, you know, it worked out good for us because I didn't have a lot of money back then. So Mark
so
did.
he took it all.
Yeah, so Mark. It was,
Yeah.
yeah. So this was an interesting, and again, it worked out great for Mark. It could have been a bad business decision for Mark, to be honest with you. He would let me buy anything, and I didn't have to pay him till October, right? So all spring and summer, I could spend money with him, and we'd rack up like $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 debt,
This-
and we just had to pay him off by October.
What was October?
I guess it's
His
just what-
taxes were due or something?
Yeah,
whatever,
probably.
whatever he wanted
don't know.
money in October. I don't know what it was. So what would happen was I could go and buy like 10 of something and sell 5 of it to pay for the other 5.
Yeah.
Because I could, he'd
Yeah.
give me a deal on 10.
Sure.
And then I would like double the
Being a
money.
reptile guy is like you kind of like a drug dealer.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
At my shop, once I know you at the shop and I trust you,
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh man, I'm gonna buy one of those like in a couple weeks. I gotta get the money. I'm like, oh dude, bro, just take it.
Just take it.
take it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get-
no.
catch it.
I'll
We
just
don't-
write it down on a
We
little
don't.
sheet.
We don't do that
It's
anymore.
for 36
Yeah, we stopped
grams
doing
right
it.
here.
We
I got
way
smoked by a
too
couple
much.
guys,
No, we got burned way
but
too
like
much.
20 years
There
later, I
is
still have their
no
invoice at my
more
store. I'll see that
credit.
motherfucker one of these
Oh,
days.
dude, I got fucking Tom's check still sitting pinned on my board.
Yeah,
He's
we
still,
got-
that
yeah.
motherfucker still owes me money.
Yeah, we just got burned. We just got burned so much for so much money that we stopped.
So no more credit. Does not exist.
Yeah, but we run we have a different business model than most people in the reptile business these days because we're really an online retail
Yeah.
company, you
Sure.
know, and so
And we don't do the
yeah.
numbers that we used to. Like
Yeah.
before, it was like
Oh, you guys were pumping out the
exactly that.
volume before,
Yeah.
yeah.
Before you had to get, you're like,
Right.
oh my
It
god,
was
I
just
got
volume.
Yeah, I've got
Yes.
5,000 of these. I got to get rid of them. You know, now it's like we're almost sold out almost all the time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like as we produce it, it sells, so we don't have to give the credit out, and it's just basically the way it goes. But yeah, no, we got. I think one day I added up like what we got burned over like a 15 or 20 year period, and it was like almost $800,000. Almost 800
Yeah.
grand, dude.
Yeah, I was not happy. Not
Yeah.
happy at all.
That was
That's
just,
good.
because it was like, I mean, the
What did you learn to not make that mistake again?
well, I learned not to trust people with big money. You know, I mean, because
He
you
learned
know,
to listen to
the
Lori.
brothers, the West brothers,
Yeah.
I mean, they got me for $120,000.
Wow. You
Yeah.
know what? Good story about those guys. So they're at the Dallas show, and I go by the check-in area, and there's a backpack laying
Yeah.
there. So I pick it up, and I'm like, fuck is in this thing? I unzipped it. Dude.
Like,
It looked like it was
Cash.
it looked like it was El Chapo's.
yeah.
It was stacks,
Yep.
bro. 10G stacks, and there had to be.
And you didn't just walk away with that.
I know, right? The story's not
Let
done
me
yet.
tell you, I was tormented for.
Because this story
Like-
wouldn't be told if
Yeah.
you did.
I-
So, dumb motherfucker.
I
But go ahead.
first looked around and saw the cameras, and I said, you know what? I have to do the right thing.
Right? Because
Damn.
After I
the-
saw
All
those
right, all
cameras,
right,
Yeah,
I
after
had
you
to
saw
do
it,
the right
yeah.
I
thing.
got it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
I
morals
wouldn't
came.
have, I
I
wouldn't have
am
slept
on
that
camera,
night.
right?
If it was on camera.
And so, like, I go
There's
and
proof, never
so
mind.
I find the one brother, and he's like, "Oh, that's my brother's," and he's like, just takes it, and I'm like, You're welcome, motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Could you not unzip it and flip me something out of there?
I should have just taken one and said, fuck you, here's the bag.
Yeah.
But whatever, that's just not my style. So I give it to him. But anyway, so then like literally like either the same show or the next show, Lindy leaves a bag laying around. Something similar like that. And I go to Linda. I call him Linda because he was supposed to be born a girl.
Oh, I didn't even know
And
that.
so his name was going to be Linda.
Oh.
That's why I call him Linda.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
No, that's an inside story. Did not know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Linda.
you know what? I've got
I think his penis was so small on the thing, the screen, when they looked at it, that they just
They're
assumed it was a
just
girl,
assuming that,
and they were going to call him Linda.
Ah, we actually have an interesting Lindy story. The first time Lori and I went to Australia, we're in
funny as shit.
Yeah, we're in like the Sydney area. It's called Darling Harbour, and we were there for a couple days on our own. We didn't know anyone at the time. Now I have tons of friends in Australia, but at the time we didn't know anybody. The promoters flew us in because we were going to be the guests at the show, and they gave us like 2 days in this condo in Darling Harbour to just kind of sightsee. So we get there, we know nothing, we know nobody at all, and we're literally like walking across the Darling Harbour Bridge, and Lindy is sitting there.
Yeah, we look at each other and I was like, fucking A. Like, that looks like Lindy.
That looks
he
like
goes,
Lindy.
That sure does. And then next thing you know, he's like, hey.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Australia.
is Lindy
Alone, with no one else. He's just there.
by himself, just sitting on a bench on the bridge.
Sitting by himself. Yep.
Yes.
Hey, guys.
But what happened was he was coming in because he wanted to sell racks at the reptile show. So he flew in,
What
and just
are the
by chances,
chances?
we were in the same place
We
at the
just
same
happened
time.
to be crossing the bridge.
And you got to remember,
sitting there.
the reptile show was like 3 hours away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
so
were
it
in
wasn't
close.
like- shouldn't have been, like,
No,
right there, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We're like,
so-
what the hell is
I
going on?
love Lindy. Lindy's
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah,
Lindy
he's
and
always
Jesse,
good.
they're great.
No, they've always been good. They've always been
That's
good stuff.
funny.
You know, it's
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, it's wild. But
Back
yeah.
in the early show days, when we were younger, we always would get limos like Thursday
Oh,
I
nights.
heard about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I always
Well,
seen it,
we
but you know what's
seen it,
funny?
right. We
But we
weren't a
never
part of
invited.
it,
We never
no.
invited.
We
Never
weren't the
invited at
party.
You
all.
would not invite Brian to something like
No,
that.
no.
There was lots of fun going on. He wouldn't know what to do.
No, you're right.
When we
Yeah,
already
you're
had
right.
the conversation, he was not a party.
He was the fun police.
Yes.
He was. I
was.
And we didn't
He
want the police with us.
Guys, would you? Are
Turned
you
me
sure?
down a few times, like toned me down.
Do you know she has a mother and a father? Don't you?
That's right.
Have her put her clothes back on.
That's right. Yeah. And oh my God, those days. Like now we talk about it, I go, you couldn't pay me $5,000 to go in that limo and
my
do that shit. We would literally go downtown. I remember seeing Bob Ashley. You know how like at like hoity-toity like dance clubs, there's like a raised platform, there's a hot girl up
Yeah.
there.
Right.
Bob Ashley would be up there.
Oh, shut up. I'd
Like-
pay money to see that
Right,
one. I couldn't
like-
picture that.
like yeah. I mean he's not an Abercrombie model.
No,
No,
he's not at
no,
all
no.
close.
And he's up there he's just dancing like he is an Abercrombie model.
Yeah.
And dude, we had and then we'd go for like pork chops down in like on Randolph Street and just craziness, man. It's funny.
Yeah,
Now everybody's too old. Now everybody like 10 o'clock. Like, I'm going to bed. See you in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I
That
feel
was
you.
that was always the tough
Can't
thing
even
about
make it to
Tinley.
8:30.
No, 9
I know.
o'clock's my bedtime.
That was a tough.
9.
9.
That was a tough thing about Tinley, though, is because I didn't party. At least I wasn't hungover in the morning. But, you know, you do the auction Saturday night. It was like 11, 12 o'clock. Then you go to the bar because everyone's like, let's go
Yeah,
to the bar.
yeah.
And then it's 2 in the morning. Then it's like, hey, come up to the room and let's talk about geckos. You know, and next thing you know, it's like 4 in the morning. You're like, fuck, I got to wake up in 2 hours, man. You know, it's like, it was
But I think
brutal.
it's
You were
worth it,
you were always
though.
the adult. That's why.
Yeah,
But think
that's
about-
good.
Yeah.
But
Now everybody
That's
does
good.
edibles. Now everybody's doing edibles.
Is that it?
Oh.
Now like edibles have taken over and like everybody, because I think everybody's like geriatric and so like there's like the medicinal side
Tell
of
me
it.
the
Instead,
benefits
They're like
of
my
it.
knees.
oh man, like joint pain relief. You sleep really well. Like instead of alcohol where you're all fucked up and you hurt the next morning, this you like you wake up and you're like,
feel great.
oh my knees feel better, my achy back's better. It's like,
Yeah, I got a good sleep last
yeah,
night.
I got a good
Oh,
sleep.
wow.
In fact, I don't remember anything after I went to bed. You know, it's like it's great.
Wow.
You see, you're missing out, dude.
I know,
I
right?
need to. I
We're
seriously,
gonna call that
yeah, I'm dead serious. I'm gonna
tonight.
consider it. You know,
Okay.
I mean, I mean,
It's like
I
a
hope
new
that
lease
there's
on
like an
life.
edible that deals with anxiety.
Oh,
You know?
There is, dude. I'm
Dude.
telling you, I got you.
on like the weed apps and shit.
Yeah, it's they have that.
You literally look up anxiety, and there'll be ones that are just like only meant for anxiety.
Yeah.
This one says, Brian, you could have been a saint. This is Lisa Tomsky.
That's
something
actually his mom.
That's
My mom.
That's his mom.
That's his mom.
It's
Seriously.
true though.
I think that one's for you for sure.
he
not
was
for
an-
me.
It's not for you.
That's not
You're
for
an
you.
No, she didn't
asshole.
confuse that one.
You're an asshole.
It's spelled correctly.
Not brain.
He was the altar
You know, my
boy.
best friend growing
I
up,
was an altar
all the way
boy.
up to like 8th grade. You know, you remember when you were a kid, you'd go to a birthday party, you'd give a card.
Yeah.
He would say, this is a true story. His name was Brian,
Okay.
spelled Brian, correct, just like mine,
Yes.
not Y, which is wrong.
That's
And
true.
so he would write brain, but
On
then he would
purpose?
sign it Brian.
Really?
Like every time, my parents would love it. Like, because every year we would like open the card, and be like, there it is.
Why? And it's just like
He's
it
that
doesn't-
stupid.
It's just- I have never misspelled my name ever. I've misspelled a lot of other things, but I haven't misspelled.
But it would be
my name.
all the time. It's like,
So he would call you Brain, but he would
sign Brian. Like, it was the weirdest shit. To this day, I'm always like, sometimes I wait like night, I scratch my head. Why did that happen? Why was that happening?
That's the edibles. That's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
edibles.
Then I eat edible, and then it goes away, and I sleep.
And I sleep and don't worry about it.
I understand.
Now I
No, I don't care. Well, the problem is, so this is the thing about edibles for me is that like I don't like being high or drunk or like feeling weird. So that's my concern is if I take something, is it going to make me feel high?
Well, no. See, that's the thing. I think with edibles now, it's such a medicinally done thing to the levels of where they can make it where there is no high, but you just, it takes that anxiety away.
See, that's what I need because I mean I'm telling you what this is it's a terrible life to live like
Yeah.
you know like always just messed
Yeah.
up, you know what I mean, and it's like it's
Oh,
you get to that
know
point
some
where you
people.
almost you get to, well I'm going to call what's her name, oh, I'm not going to say it on the
Yeah.
air but
Yeah.
but I'm going to call
Jody.
her
We got
Jody.
Jody.
We
Yeah,
got a
Jody.
person.
Jody Foster.
We got a person, and
Jody
I'm all
Foster.
about it. Well, hell, it's legal here in Michigan, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's even breaking the law.
No.
Yeah, it's legal here. Yeah,
Motherfucker, bro.
yeah. I wish I could, man. I mean, if I could smoke weed, I'd.
Nah,
do
this,
it.
I'd say no on the smoke. Not that there's anything wrong with smoking because I do that too once in a while, but I don't like to smoke. I don't like smoke, period. I just don't
Right,
like it. But the edible thing is,
It's different.
It's-
you don't have that same type of thing.
it's a different
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And I think medicinally, I think it'll really help you. I really
Yeah.
do.
I hope so.
It will.
I'm willing to try right now.
Because the doses will be different.
Right
and
now.
the effect that they're trying to reach
Live.
is different.
Let's do it on air right now.
Yeah, that could
Bruce.
actually be better.
Bruce probably. Bruce has a whole fucking backpack. He's like the fucking West Brothers with the.
He may or may not have the anxiety one, though. I don't know.
Yeah, no. You never buy your medication from that guy. If you want to get all high and fucked up, maybe. But, like, if you want, like, you know,
I am not good to mellow out.
that's right.
That's
No, it's a messed up life, but well, man.
That's what we took from it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, man, I tell you,
That's okay.
I should
We're
do
gonna
it.
do this.
Yeah.
We're gonna
do it.
try it. Let me know in the comments and the things. If you guys think.
yeah. Like it.
Let's see it. Let's
We
see
need
it.
at least 400. And
Yeah, if we get 1,000 likes, if we get 1,000 likes on this,
See? It's already there. See?
Dude, so many
Look at
people.
that.
Look at that. Bingo.
see, edibles take 2 hours to kick in, so don't take too much, huh?
Or just don't
Listen.
take it and then go to DMV and then be there for 2 hours.
See,
and you're
this
like,
is
"Whoa."
this
I have to figure out who this Kim King is because every time I read her things, I
You're
keep thinking
thinking
it's my
your
cousin.
cousin.
I'm like, yeah, she
You're
doesn't
gonna
say shit
call-
like that.
You're gonna call her tonight and be like, "What the fuck, man?"
That's right.
You don't really know your cousin. Now
No.
you do.
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Now
I
you
thought
do.
did.
It's
Even Heidi said do it.
even Heidi said do it. Yeah. Well,
All right.
Yeah.
Heidi.
I don't know. I should.
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah,
We'll
we
make
should.
sure
What's
it's
the
good for-
worst that can happen, right? I
Literally
mean,
nothing. No
Yeah,
You
well,
feel
this
good.
is this is
The
my
worst that
big
happens, you feel
fear.
good.
Okay, is because I'm a snack person, so
Yeah.
you can't tell me to take one tiny bite of a cookie because I'm gonna
I
eat
want the whole cookie.
fucking box,
just get
like because
cookies
that's what
too.
I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'd have to do is take a bite and then get a whole other box
Yeah,
of
that's-
cookies,
yeah.
and then just eat the other box because
I guess.
that's
I do.
just
I try to do it and then go to bed,
not gonna.
so it avoids the
happen.
munchies part.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Because
Yeah, I
munchies,
just do it and then I go to bed.
the munchies will
Really?
kick your ass.
Otherwise, the munchies kick in, and then like, man, you open up the fridge and you're getting
Yeah.
pasta.
Have you ever been in like a point where you're on the couch and you're just like, you're not even controlling your arms anymore. You're just stuffing in your mouth. And you just can't even control
Wait a
it.
second.
Yeah, there is
Was that you
But
last?
like, but
was that
only-
you last night?
Probably.
Because you were eating all kinds of shit. The ice cream, the chips, the everything.
Oh yeah,
I was
we
saying
actually
last night.
literally we literally had to go to the gas station to get ice cream.
Oh my
And
God,
then,
yeah.
you crushed the bag of chips. And
Well,
then
you know why? That was because Tito was over.
Dude, Tito
was
just kept
over.
pulling out J's. And he was like, "You want some?" I'm like, "Oh, fuck it."
Dude, all I know is I was building a shed and I was getting a contact high across the fucking yard. Across the yard outside. I was outside and I was getting a contact buzz.
Tito's no
Fucking
joke,
dude,
bro.
Tito was just like,
This bro literally we were working
Baked
from
all day
literally
long, and
like
he
from
just
9
sat
and
there
he just sat there and got high and
biting
slept
one
half
after
the day.
another.
He was like we'd look over, he'd be
He's like, I'm
sleeping.
so tired. And we're like,
he was, I know. He was like, "I'm so tired." We're like, "Ow, you've been sleeping all day."
It takes a lot out of him in the heat.
It does, man.
Yeah.
We're up on the roof and stuff, nailing. Tito's just.
Yeah.
eating.
God, what are their crazy things like through the years, man?
Oh man.
There's been so much. I mean, that's the thing. It's I tell you, you know what show I wish would have continued on, and I don't
Are
understand.
you going to say Maryland?
No. I was going to say
I
the
missed the Maryland show.
no, the Anaheim show. Like I don't understand why
Yeah.
that was cranking, and then it just
I
kind
can
of.
see because
there's a-
Anaheim, California's weird. Right?
There's a couple things I think. You had 3 super shows come on
Yeah.
Right.
where we were the only show in town,
Right.
and also 3 super shows come a week prior to us each
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, maybe.
And so that takes the edge off. He had a better location than we had,
right.
and so I think
love
that took some
One
of it off.
Yeah.
One of
Um,
my favorite shows of all time.
He just
was
got
the,
put, he just got pushed into Anaheim
Yeah, I
because
saw
he
that.
lost his spot,
Yeah,
and I guess it was a shit show.
really.
So the facility just sucks.
Yeah, he's at the same place you guys. used to
Same,
be at. Yeah,
exact. And the facilities,
yeah, it's tough because
they
the
don't work with you at
union, yeah,
all.
it's just a bunch. Yeah.
You have Tinley where they're your partner. You feel like
Yeah.
they try to do everything they can to help you.
Yeah.
You have Anaheim where they try to do everything they can to fuck you.
Dude, I remember,
Yeah, remember,
us trying
yeah.
to put our shit up. Like they were like, "Oh, you can't do this.
Yeah,
you can't do
we
that."
had to.
The
Yeah, we had to
union
like
people- I'm
pay.
like,
Yeah,
We
had to
paid a
pay.
nurse like
I'm just-
$1,500 a show that I've never seen.
I'm like,
Wow.
I'm just trying to put my back up. No, you can't
Just
touch
all
this.
kinds of
And I'm
just
like,
Yeah, I remember pulling
Yeah.
up literally the van and them going like, "You can't touch anything in the van." What?
Yeah,
It's like it's
it
a
was just
union.
it's
It was
just a whole
crazy.
different
Yeah.
thing.
But I love the Anaheim
Yeah.
show before the convention center was one of my favorite shows in the
First
hotel.
one we did,
in the
Yeah.
hotel.
man, they
That
did
was-
not want us back.
Oh, it was
We
so
tried to go back there, and I think
that was Noah's first show.
Oh, that's
that
when you
was
got
the
concussed. That's
4-year-old
when you got concussed.
concussion
Yeah.
at
What-
Disney.
what-
Oh my
yeah.
what
God.
happened
Yeah.
was Bubba lived in the bathtub of Jim Nessie's room,
Oh.
and the fucking hotel
Oh,
dude was like
no.
coming unglued about it.
Oh
Like
my
they were so nervous
I
about it.
guess that makes sense.
Every morning they would come down when he'd have the cart to bring them out, and you could tell they were just like they thought for sure it was gonna like jump up and
And
start
attack
killing everybody in
people,
the
yeah.
Oh
in
my
the
gosh,
place.
Because it's
yeah.
a gator. Yeah. That's
Oh, they do kill that. They do kill everybody.
Yeah.
And they literally the next year they're like, no, we're good.
Wow, yeah. I just remember going to that show. We went to the show going like, it's probably not going to be a good show, but let's do a little vacation out of it.
Right, because your
Yeah.
sister flew in from
Yeah.
Hawaii, met us
Yeah,
with her
medicine.
kids.
We're gonna go to Disney. This is gonna be great. We're gonna have a great time, and we sold almost everything.
Oh my God.
we were almost sold
It was
out.
a killer show.
It was a crazy.
And then we
good
had a
show.
vacation. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
And
good
then
I
stuff.
mean, other than Noah
We had
getting
good times out
concussed.
there too.
No, I
Yeah.
still had a good time.
We've had good times at all the shows. I mean, some of
Yeah.
the worst shows we've ever done, like Virginia.
Some
Oh
of
my
the
gosh,
worst
yeah.
are
You
know?
actually some of the most fun.
And we had
to
fun
be
though,
honest.
man.
Right,
like crazy.
exactly.
Those were limo days. All the King of Prussia shows were limo days. We had limos for all those.
That's where
Crazies.
Brian Sharp actually introduced us to
Yep.
Maggiano's.
Yes,
from
Maggiano's,
King
the
of Prussia,
fucking
yeah.
meatballs.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have a Maggiano's here.
What's
And,
up with him?
Yeah, I haven't talked to him in years.
He's
man.
alive, right?
Oh, he's still alive. Yeah, he's retired.
He's
you know,
probably
I think
him
he's
and
just-
his puppies.
Yeah,
His,
it's little Jack Russells.
Jack
yeah,
Russells,
yeah.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Last time I talked to Ian, who I haven't talked to in a while because he's a bad friend.
Can we call him? Is there a way to plug him in like here?
No, but he's a
No.
horrible
Oh my
friend.
God, dude.
He's a horrible
friend. He's a I love Ian, but I haven't talked to him in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And like he just
Fucker
won't
never
he just
answers
he
his
won't
phone.
return my calls, won't return anything. And then, out of nowhere he'll call just like a year later and be like, "Hey dude, what's up?" So
Dude, that's fucking.
you calling
that's,
him?
that's
I'm just gonna
me.
try,
Yeah,
just on the slim chance.
that'll be interesting.
Oh, dude, his like
Speaker,
phone's
speaker.
disconnected.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
Well,
geez,
maybe
that's
there's other
okay.
shit going
Oh,
on we
there you
don't
go.
know about.
yeah.
Got him.
Those fucking Russells.
Those Russells got him.
I don't know, something weird happened. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It's but no, I mean, like I said, I've always loved them, and I
Oh my
hope one
God.
day we
That's
can be a
another-
friend
okay.
again.
That's another story. Okay, an Ian story from back in the Orlando days. Oh wait, no,
I have
that
no
was
idea.
that was the
Cracked his
early.
head.
Yeah, that was the early Daytona days.
It was
the
it was like the first Daytona,
yes,
maybe.
because
yeah.
Lee, my brother, was with us too on that one.
Oh,
and he
gosh.
was that was one of the Friday nights, Saturday nights. I don't know.
I believe that was the night that Lee called me at 2 in the morning,
Yes.
and like 2 in the morning woke me up. Her brother called me at 2 in the morning and said, "I don't know where I am. Can you come get me?"
and
I
hung
was like-
up and hung up.
And then hung up.
I'll go right back to bed.
I
I'll go
did.
right back to bed.
Well, what was I? What could I do?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
we did go back to bed. He showed up in the morning because he was staying in our room.
Yeah.
He was
was probably
actually in our
outside the
room.
And he
door.
was supposed to fucking work the show. And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
think he showed-
motherfucker better be here to work the table.
And what he told us is, and then you can get back to your Ian story, but what he told us was he was like, he goes, yeah, I was just hanging out, down in the lobby with everyone. He goes, and some guys goes, hey, you want to go out and party? He's like, fuck yeah, let's go. He went, and they went somewhere, and then the guys
They
left
just
him.
left.
They left him.
Yes.
So he had no idea where he was. How he got back, this was before Uber.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was before, and he didn't even know where we were.
Yeah. He
You know,
wouldn't
so
have probably even known the hotel name. But
How he got back, who
somehow
knows?
he got
Early
back.
ball python days. Ian's story. Ian Nizdowski is who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Outback Reptiles.
Nobody knows who
So you don't know him because he won't answer his phone. So he was be at a show. He goes, and a guy would be like bugging him, like, dude, I want to buy this. I want to spend like 25 grand with you. And he's like, all right, well, call me on Monday. I'll be back from the show. You can come over, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So the guy calls him on Monday. He's like, dude, I'll tell you what, I'm super busy. Just wire my account 25,000,
know.
and then we'll figure out what you want to buy, and then
together a
and then
package.
we'll put together a deal, and then that's that. Otherwise, I'm too busy to talk to you. And he hang up the phone.
Yeah.
And people
Yep.
would do it.
And the dude would
People
wire the
would
25
send him the
grand to him.
freaking money.
Stan Ruppel told me this story a million times. Where he would call him up when Ian would get the shipment from ball pythons in, and he'd go, "What did you get?" And he goes, "Wire me 10 grand, and I'll tell you." And Stan
And
said,
they did.
Stan always said, I'd always wire it to him because he would always give me great deals. He goes, and sometimes he said he'd send him a box. He'd go, you don't even need to know what I'm getting. I'm just going to send you stuff. And he'd be like,
people
but
would
what are you
frickin'
sending
do
me?
it.
Don't worry about it. And Stan always said, I'd always be able to make money. So I just kept doing it. But
So
Best business model ever.
like the mystery box
Dude,
package. Like,
that
oh, it's
guy-
a mystery.
He's funny, man.
It's insane.
well, that's why I miss him. I mean, I truly miss him as
Oh,
a
yeah.
friend. And like
So
we never
fun.
had
Such a
like a
great guy.
falling out.
No,
We
it's the
never
same
had-
with everybody, bro. Same with
Yeah,
me.
he just
Yeah.
like disappeared on me.
I
Yeah.
think it's
He
just
taught me to
life,
hunt.
just-
On my cell phone from a tree stand.
Yeah.
I'd call him at 4:30 in the
He
morning,
loved fucking hunting, man.
and I would be like, "All right, I got a northwest wind. I'm gonna hunt this stand. The field is to the left. And then the trail comes in. And then should I put out the deer piss yet or no? And should I use a decoy? What do you think?" And he's like, "No, I'm waking him up. I mean, he's in bed with his wife. He's like, oh yeah, put the deer piss out. Don't use the decoy yet though. It's a little early in the season yet for that. And then." Yeah, and then just go for bucks now. No does. We're working on bucks now. And I'm like, all right, bro, thanks. And I'd hang up the phone. And I would do all this shit, man. And that's how I learned to hunt.
Dude,
And so then I end up opening up a whole nother company in the hunting industry.
Yeah.
And so now I call them up, and I'll be like with famous fucking hunters and shit. I'm like, Ian, I'm out with, so-and-so right now. Just want to say, hey, bro. And he loves it. He just thinks it's, because he knows what I'm doing. I'm just like, kind of like, I know he'll
You're just
appreciate it.
backing
And
him,
yeah.
it's just so funny, man.
No, when I went out to his place once in Virginia, he had this like super, like I remember, he bought the place, which is
Telling
like,
the haunted story.
I won't tell the haunted story. I'll save
The
that one
house
for next
that he's in
one.
now?
Yeah, he's in now. Yeah,
Yeah, I've been there.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's like a plantation.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's absolutely beautiful.
It is.
No,
It
no,
is.
no.
Whoa.
No. I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I don't mean to sound
I don't
whatever,
know
but
Brian Barczyk.
no, but literally, it had the little
I know.
black guy on the front. Like the
You know,
little
that
black
is
dude.
actually not a racist thing. The little guy, the jockey.
The
Yeah,
jockey,
jockey.
The
Yeah.
colors that they wore represented what it was for. It meant if you could stay the night. Somebody back me up on this. You'd have to research this. I don't know the exact story, but it meant different things based on the colors of what they wore. It was to do with the Underground Railroad.
Right. I was just gonna say
Very
that.
cool,
Right,
very cool.
exactly.
No, and obviously
know,
you know
dude.
what
Go
I'm
on
not
with your
saying.
story.
So, anyways, so this builder guy buys like the 10 acres next to him and builds a nice house.
Okay.
And I remember Ian telling me like, dude, I'm really worried because this guy's like super liberal, freaking like against hunting, against this, and like literally.
It's not gonna work.
Yeah, he was like, so I go there, and this what makes Ian such a cool dude. It's like by the time I go, this is a couple years later, he had totally broke the guy. I mean, broke the
Moved
guy
him
to the
out of
point.
there?
No. The guy, they were best
They're
friends.
friends
They would
because,
hang out. But literally, like, I go there the one day, and he's like, he walks onto the guy's property, right onto the guy's property. The guy's sitting out on the porch. They're like best of friends now, sitting on the porch with drinking, his like Jack and whatever. And Ian walks over there with a gun. There's a groundhog, and he just blows it right on the guy's property. Boom! And the guy just looks and just like, pfft. Next thing you know, we're sitting on the porch drinking with the guy. You know?
Yeah.
It's like he just.
Dude, Ian is like, he's the most unique individual. There's just something about him, man.
Yeah, and that's why
He's
I miss
got a
him so much.
charisma.
Yeah, I
Like,
just
I
miss him.
love him.
Yeah, I miss him so much, and I just wish that.
He's an
I
asshole,
remember-
but he's got charisma.
I literally remember being a kid at these shows, like White Plains in specific, because he was up
Yes,
on the
'cause he had the
stage.
Yeah,
on the
yeah, yeah.
stage
Oh,
every
yeah.
time.
yeah.
And I would just kind of leave and do my own thing from the table, and I would end up at Ian's, old Uncle Ian's, and he would just be like, "Oh, what do you want?" And literally, I could just like pick whatever, and he'd just be like, "Take it, your dad got it later," or something
Yeah,
like
he-
that.
yeah,
Yeah, I'd get really
And he's
mad and
like-
be like, "No, that's going
Yeah,
back."
I'd just like come home with like a couple chameleons and shit. I'd be like, "Yeah, mom, look what I got," and you're just like, "Fucking Ian."
Yeah.
Just like more chameleons.
No, dude, there's something about him that's just different. Like, he's.
Again, like breaking people. I remember him saying that when he got married to Heather, which by the way is a saint.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand
Yeah,
how
they're-
they're
she
still
put up with
together,
him,
God bless her.
because he's crazy. But I remember him saying like, "Yeah, we got married, and I had a couple porn subscriptions," and she was like, "You need to get rid of your porn subscription." He goes, "You know what I did? I went out and subscribed to every porn site I could find." He said, "I subscribed to every single one I could find." And he goes, and she left it alone after that. She didn't say anything again.
Dude. She probably hates me. I would call her like, because when I first started, I was like crazy about hunting. I could not stop every day, and so I'd call his house out every day, like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, every day, for my like little. What do I do?
What do I do? Oh my gosh! I remember him like having a room in the haunted area. That I got to tell that story someday. But it's just I stayed at his house. I had a meeting out in Maryland, and I called him up and was like, "Hey man, can I come over? I'm going to stay the night." And or first I just said, "Hey, I'm going to be out there, and I've got a flight out the next day." And he's like, "Stay at my house." I'm like, "Sweet, cool." So I go there, and he's got like his new house is like an addition to his old house, right? So the old
Which
house
is
is
the
like
old original.
the old original is like in the 1700s,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
late
yeah.
1700s, low ceiling
Yeah, it's
stuff
cool.
like that. And then he's got this addition that's built on where his family lives. Well, I didn't realize that, like when you're in
You'd
the
be
old house.
staying in the old house.
Yeah, I was in the old bedroom. It's just a
the
two.
old attic.
Yeah, it was like a 2-bedroom, old, small, like creepy type thing. And so I go there and I'm like, fuck, this sucks. And like it's one of those houses where like I think I could scream from that bedroom and they wouldn't hear me in his house, like where he's staying, because the
It's
bedroom's
like
on
the
other
one
side.
that we stayed in Traverse
Oh.
when we went to the Great Wolf,
to
and then we
climb up
stayed.
into the
Yes,
attic
when
and
we stayed
just-
at the attic,
oh.
and
It was
they had the
super
little
creepy.
room. Yeah.
And then his manager, Ryan, at the time, like, so still I'm going there. I'm like, it's no big, I'm not even thinking about anything. I'm like, all right, cool. I get to crash there, whatever. Ryan's like, we're out in the barn looking at some snakes. And Ryan's like, so you're spending the night, dude? I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, fuck, man. And I go, what? He goes, I won't even go in that house up there. He goes, I used to go take naps up there. And he goes, and I would wake up and there'd be an old lady staring at me in the face.
Whoa.
And he said, and this and that. So then I started talking to Ian. He's like, yeah, the old house. But don't worry about it. Yeah.
I would
have
have slept with him and his wife.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah. And so literally,
100%.
dude, I slept with the lights on. The hall room, the hall was lights on.
Yep.
The bedroom light was
Yep.
on. Everything. And I don't even think I fell asleep. I think I was up
No,
all night
you were
long.
miserable. 'cause
I
heard
straight up
all
don't watch
about
scary
it.
movies because I always think that if you like watch scary movies,
You bring it
They
upon
come through the
itself.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
like
think
you're
it's
just welcoming
watch
that
The
shit in.
Ring.
I don't watch
the
any
ring
of that.
actually
No, I don't.
does
it.
come through.
I don't
the
watch
TV,
any
yeah.
of that. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't. I
It's
don't.
good.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No, it's not about that. It's a love story.
Yeah.
What would you tell me?
Oh yeah,
It's-
it's
it's
The
a-
Ring.
yeah,
it's about the marriage.
Yeah.
Diamonds Are
It's really good.
Yeah.
Watch it with your girl.
Not
Ring.
doing it. Not.
It's true
doing
though. When I watched like a lot of scary movies, horror movies, and I binge like a bunch of them,
You get a lot
subconsciously,
more shit.
Yeah.
like in my
Yeah.
head, I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh fuck, a ghost is
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
downstairs."
exactly.
Like, but
Nope.
if
I don't
I
take any chances.
if I don't, I take a break from those scary movies. Like I notice myself not even
Yep.
thinking about ghosts being a reality.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just remember the second room in that old creepy house. He used to tell me like deer would walk through, and he just plop him from the window.
Yeah.
Right out the window. Just he's
Dude.
goes like
I
that,
was
just
on
open
the
up the
phone
window.
with him at
Boom.
one point. 'Cause
He's
we were
like-
talking about something. He's like, hold on.
He's like, come out and hunt, man. He's like, we'll go duck hunting. I got this spot, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what, you got a bunch of land? He's like, no. He's like, I just
right out
just
front.
hunt there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, like, do they let you hunt? He's like, no. He goes, if like somebody says something to me, I just say, well, John said I could hunt here.
Yeah, he's
was
he was a
terrified.
character. I mean, just there's a million, just like the Pete Call stories. There's a million Ian stories,
Yeah.
and tell your one. I mean, obviously you were talking about the one about Daytona.
Yeah. He's on the back of a pickup truck. And, we're just like, whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, come on, da, da, da. And then the person, like, pulls away. And he's like, oh, and, like, falls off.
Cracks
Crushes
his
his
head.
head.
Who's this,
bleeding.
Pete or
It-
Ian?
no,
No,
Ian.
this is Ian. And then, like, gets up and is like, all right, man, like, gets back on the truck, and they fucking drive away. Like,
And what
his
ended up
head-
happening is Scott Stahl was with him. the
Yep.
vet,
Yeah.
And so he just like super glued it. He just like and so the next day he showed up to the show.
Yeah.
And it's like super glue in his hair and
oh, it
everything,
was
just like
so
a big
bad,
old glob,
so
like
gross.
almost looks like someone melted plastic
Yeah.
on his head or
Yeah.
something like that.
No, but
No,
he was
Scott's
good.
great.
He
Yeah,
was
Scott
good,
was
yeah.
Yeah, I just saw Scott just emailed something about
We
like
thought he
is
was
he like
dead.
retiring or is he
Really?
like, something like about like he was stepping away from the day to day or something like that. I just saw an email just about a
Can't
week
be
ago
that
from it.
old. Come on.
No, he's not. He's in his 50s or something like that probably, but maybe he's just, letting other people run things for a little bit. I have no idea, but it's but yeah, I just saw something from the other day. I haven't talked to Scott in a long time. Nicest dude. He's obviously was a reptile vet,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we
that helped.
worked with him for years.
We worked with him for years. Yeah, it's but yeah, it's I don't think that's the thing. I think there's so many effing characters in the reptile world, I mean, you're one of them.
Scott Salstead.
Yes.
Oh my God, jeez. Is he done now? I mean, after
Oh,
he
he's been
sold
out.
Vintage-
He sold that to the guy from Cages by Design from
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy was. I just remember him.
I
yeah,
made a lot of money off him in bets.
in bets.
He would bet me these crazy. He's a tinfoil hat guy.
Okay,
All kinds of conspiracy theories.
right.
Al Qaeda was going to come here and they were going to start little fires all over California, wildfires.
Right.
And so he's like, I'll bet, and he would be like, I'll bet you 10 to 1, 50 to 1, all these weird. He would say these crazy things, and I would take him up on every one of them. And
he would
I
pay?
won every single time.
pay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because Bob would always be there, and Bob's like, I can't believe he gives you that bet. Like I can't. And I'm like, I take it every
Just
time, and I win
dumb
every
shit.
time.
Yeah, that's.
It's awesome
That's
if he
awesome.
pays.
I need somebody
Yeah.
like that.
He had all these conspiracy. I mean, they were so far fetched, and he was like, "It'll happen by this day," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"All right."
Yeah, he was crazy. I just remember him like all
He made
being,
the sex doll. Remember?
Yeah, he was all gung ho
Yeah.
about the sex doll thing.
Then he
like-
made like a fleshlight thing.
Yeah.
His own version. I think he made it with like hard plastic. I'm like, that's not really the same.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, he always had that weird. I mean, he was just a weird. And that's always weird when you have like I'd like to call him a non-reptile person that just wanted to do something in the reptile world. You know what I mean? Like he didn't seem to have a passion for reptiles per se, but he
He was a business guy.
Yeah, it was just
kind of a dreamer guy, kind of
Yeah.
a inventorish kind of guy.
yeah. And I mean, the vision cages were great.
They
you know?
were,
I mean,
yeah.
They
Yeah.
did great for the time, and I don't know what now it's customcages.com, right? Is what they call themselves now.
Yeah, I
they
think
went
it
from
is, yeah.
Cages by Design to
To ca- yeah.
customcages.com. So I don't know if they're doing anything with them or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're doing them. I just don't know if
Yeah,
they're,
no, he is.
Yeah.
He's doing stuff. He called me a couple times.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, it seems like a good company. I mean, they seem to be kind of dominating that world. pretty-
Price is like, man.
They're so expensive, man.
Oh.
Oh my gosh, you buy a.
I tried telling him. He's like, well, he wasn't making any money with it, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, you're not going to either because at these prices, no one's buying that.
Yeah, they literally. I saw that they like over doubled their prices.
Yes.
On the same product.
He's like,
so-
oh, but it includes shipping now. And I'm like, I don't care if it includes an extra cage. That's too high.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's just too high.
Yeah, it's I don't know. But yeah, Scott was definitely a trip.
Oh yeah.
Gosh, there's so many. That's what I'm saying. There's just so many guys over the years that.
That's why we gotta keep doing these podcasts. We'll get
yeah,
the stories
I
out
mean, yeah,
eventually.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
how
we need to
big-
get Tommy up here. I'll call him
Tom,
tomorrow.
yeah,
I'll call
Tom.
him on the way home tomorrow, and I guarantee he'll be up here in no time.
Tom would be great. you
Oh,
know,
man.
Tom is.
That'd be
But you know,
awesome.
like I said, I've always had a lot of respect for Tom.
Yep.
He's a good dude, and he's always treated me really well.
yeah, me
and,
too.
He's
Well, I think we had this conversation too, and that's what I think is funny, and not like, throwing it out there like people should respect us, but from the standpoint of, that's how it was. Like when we got into it, the people that were in before us,
Yeah, we
there was a
respected.
respect factor. Like, holy shit,
Sure,
like,
I
these
mean,
guys did some
and not
stuff,
because you were
and
supposed
people-
to. You just did because of what they did.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
like
I
you just
feel
did.
Like,
Like
that's just not
Well, I-
what's there today.
I've
People
always-
who
yeah.
come in, like you said, are self-proclaimed like
Oh,
experts
man, there's-
and have no respect for the people that forged all this shit ahead of time
Yeah.
that
Well,
you
it's
wouldn't
like
even
a-
be able to do what you do today.
Yeah.
It's
without,
like
you know?
I always say it was analogous to tattooing, and what I meant by that is that the guys from the 50s that were like the legends of tattooers.
Ed Hardy's.
Yeah, they suck. You know what I mean? Like if you look at their work now,
In
you're like,
shit.
it's horrible.
Total
right.
shit.
But-
But you still have
but the guys-
respect.
But the guys that came
yeah.
after them that took it from a shit art to an amazing art,
Right. They
which
look
has
at
now
them
been
as
stepped up again.
Yeah, but they look at those guys as legends.
Yes.
because
They're
they're the
like-
reasons
yeah.
why
Yes,
they were
yes,
able
yes.
to do what
They're
they
like, oh my
did.
God,
Yeah.
this guy is like, and they'll even get tattoos from guys that are terrible tattooers just
To
because
have
they
it.
Of
want
who it is,
Yeah, because
yeah.
of who it is, and it's just weird. I don't understand why the reptile hobby isn't, because this is what I've said, and you're a perfect person to ask. Name me one person that was in as a breeder in the 90s, let's say, that is highly respected right now in the reptile world. Like, highly respected. You know?
No, not highly respected. Like when Mark Bell walks through the show, no one knows who he is.
Yeah, no one even
I
knows who he
know.
is. Yeah.
We
That's-
know who he is,
Right.
but nobody else.
Yeah.
All these self-proclaimed like reptile experts on Facebook
Exactly.
that have all their little chat groups and kick you out of a ball python group because you feed live or all these any other weird little thing that they do. Don't even know who Mark Bell is, and
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
Or Gary
Yeah.
Sipperly. I mean,
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
people, what show did he show up to? Like maybe 7, 8 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
He showed up to a reptile show. I think it might have been Tinley. I don't even know where it was. It was, when we were still doing reptile shows, and Gary just walks up to the table, and I was like, Gary Sipperly?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, holy shit. And I
nobody
guarantee
knew
you,
who the hell he
no
was.
one in that
Like,
place knew who he was.
And it was like, dude, like this is a fucking legend. Like
Right,
he,
right.
he
Yep.
did shit that
Yep.
you couldn't do what you're doing right now if he didn't do what he did.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
nobody
people don't even
knows.
know who Lloyd Lemke is, or Ernie
Sure.
Wagner.
Yeah,
you
Ernie
know,
Wagner and
Yeah, Tom White.
how crazy, like that Pete Call took the albino boa from Ernie Wagner.
Yeah.
Who else was in on that? God, now even.
Oh gosh. I don't,
moved,
it was.
moved to
It was.
Utah and moved back.
It was.
Air traffic controller.
Steve Osborne.
Steve Osborne.
Yeah.
Steve Osborne.
And I want to think maybe one more.
I think
felt-
John Ruiz. I think it was John Ruiz.
Yes,
Steve
John.
Osborne,
It is.
and
100%.
Ernie. Yep,
Ruiz
yep.
was always in Reptile Haven
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So I would see John Ruiz. All these guys. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
So yeah, those three. This punk ass kid flies out there,
Yeah.
takes it from them,
And breeds it.
and breeds it.
Yeah, these are the three biggest legends at the time, probably in the entire.
Pete
thing.
flies out there with a bunch of drug money.
Yeah, and literally breeds it.
And breeds it.
Because I remember, as a matter of fact, it was so funny because I think it might have been Vivarium magazine, or it was a magazine that when Pete finally produced the albino boas, because a lot of people were like, it's probably retained sperm. There's no way that Ernie and these guys
Yeah.
couldn't breed it, but he
Yeah,
bred
yeah,
it.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
And then he finally popped out the first albino boas, and I remember there was this. I mean, like the worst possible quality picture. You could barely make out it was a snake, and it was a baby albino. Like the litter. You know
Yep,
what I mean?
yep.
And I was like, what fucking camera did this guy take this on? Because you could, you could tell it was an albino boa, but barely. And you would think that if you did something so amazing like that, you would be
Well,
like
Think
big
of our
time.
technology back there.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
right.
Yeah. But I remember that picture was in a
Brick
magazine.
phones didn't have a camera.
No.
Yeah.
There wasn't even a brick phone at that time.
Exactly.
No, not back then. There was
It
no
was
brick
all-
phone.
Yep.
Get it developed.
Yeah, but I mean, photography's been around for a while. I'm sure he could have hired somebody to take
Sure,
an
sure.
actual picture.
Nobody,
Yeah.
nobody was doing that shit back then. That's
I
the
know,
thing.
but in a magazine, for gosh sakes, like I said, it was either Vivarium magazine or I can't remember what was the small magazine that was out for a while. Remember, it was like half the size of a magazine. It's like
Yeah.
Herpers or Herp something, or not Herp Nation, but
I know what
Herp
you mean.
something.
Somebody probably
Yeah.
drew the picture.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
This is what I
Yeah.
perceive it to be.
Artist rendering.
Yeah.
yeah,
And we would have been okay with that.
yeah. Speaking of like magazines and stuff like that, I think don't you think Reptiles magazine really blew it? I mean, they had the opportunity to really take the lead on everything as far as
yeah.
the biggest website, and they just because they were the
The problem was, I think they were run by a company that had dog fancy, cat
Yeah,
fancy,
yeah.
reptile
Yeah.
hobby, hobbyist, whatever. And it was just,
And
it was
Reptile
just,
was nothing.
it was just like,
Yep.
put a magazine out, do the same format we've always done, just switch it to Reptile, and just that's that, you know.
Yeah.
But they had Russ Case. They had Sandy Quinn, who without Sandy Quinn, that thing would have been dead long before.
Yeah, when they got
awesome.
rid of Sandy, that was when I like
everyone.
everyone. Yeah, I don't even want to support.
She was Reptiles magazine.
Yeah, because she was. I wonder what's up with her. I wonder if she.
I want to say Bob talked to her not
she
real long
probably
ago.
retired into Portal, Arizona.
Yeah, right. He's probably trying to con
She's
her into buying.
managing. Yeah, she's managing the diner.
Yeah.
She's buying more Indian gear.
Yeah, she's.
No, she's good. But yeah, I mean, you know, they could have. I mean, they could have just dominated. I mean,
because they had the name, they had the, they had the URL was like reptiles.com. They had
at
everything.
the same time remember then came out. What was the other mag? Guy from California ran it. I can't think of his name. There's two guys.
Oh, Herp Nation.
Herp Nation.
Yeah.
Herp Nation.
And they had the quality magazine.
They had a great.
They had a great magazine, but they needed what they should have done is whatever they had to do to get Sandy Quinn to jump ship.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Because all the advertisers would have came over,
Yeah.
and they already had the good content and the good everything.
It's
It would
true.
have been the perfect marriage,
Yeah.
you know. But it was like the two things were separate and divided. That they were worthless.
We still talk to them because we still buy magazines from some old magazines from them. One old magazine.
They just needed Sandy.
We buy what they have left in the one.
we buy what they have left. Obviously, it wasn't a very good
and
seller.
there's not very many left.
It wasn't a good seller. It's
Yeah.
this is one that our cover we were on the cover for.
scale is
So.
I mean, I would put like 6 of them on the shelf, you know, at my store on the front counter, and like it would 6 months later I'd sell one.
Yeah.
It just became a dead media, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's so wild that there's still companies out there that think that magazines are the way to go. And it's crazy because
Well,
even
I'm sorry. You know why? Because they cater to me. You know what?
Oh,
I
gosh.
like something in my hand. I'm not a digital person.
Yeah, no, that
I
digital
like
magazine thing.
I
is
like
just,
a book. I like a magazine.
Yeah,
I still get
no, I'm with you.
magazines.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so they're coming to us, to our
Yeah.
generation. Like Noah probably doesn't give a
Noah
shit
probably does
about
not want a
this,
magazine.
but to me, I need something
Depends
in
what
my
it
hand.
is.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't do that shit on the iPad.
Yeah, stuff's different now. It's, just,
Yeah.
it's
So they still have one generation left.
Yeah,
When we die, they're fucked.
yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
pretty much. Yeah, it's gonna be gone. Like, think about what people used 100 years
I
ago.
mean, Playboy
Probably
magazine
don't
died.
use
What does
it
that
anymore.
tell you?
yeah, we've got a bunch. You
Yeah.
want
We
to
got
buy
a
some?
bunch.
My dad used to have a huge collection of them.
We have over
My
400.
uncle,
uncle
yeah,
died.
I think we threw them away, and they're probably above him worth a lot of money
yeah,
now.
we did not throw those away.
Yeah,
We
Although
have 'em.
Lori burned about 100 of them.
I did.
Yeah, burned them before I was like, why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Cause
The fuck do I
titties.
want with
She
them?
doesn't
Yeah.
like them.
There's great stereo reviews in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stereo.
Well,
yeah.
I didn't know till
Cassettes.
after,
Cassette tape reviews.
And then,
The stereo
then I
review
know.
section is why men get that.
Yeah, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to see the good deals on the and new coming.
Yeah, they have great stereo reviews.
Yeah.
Stereo review.
Yeah, well, all I know is that.
Ask my dad when you see him. Ask him when you see Lee at the next show. Say,
I'll be like, hey,
he'll tell
what
you.
about those stereo reviews?
He'll say, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Playboy the best.
Well, the thing with ours, what was interesting is my uncle had 3 decades of them that were not one of them was open.
no.
Still in the
Didn't even-
plastic.
Still in the mailer
There's, I guarantee you, there's some of those that are over $1,000.
Wow.
Well, and that's why we have
We have a
'em.
Donald Trump one.
Yeah, we do.
I will guarantee you, that's probably. No, Google that up and see what that's worth.
Dude, I googled it. $30. That's what I don't get.
I'll give you 60 tonight.
All right, let's go.
And he'll go, yeah,
No,
he's going to
it's
go
at-
sell it
it's at
for
the house.
No, I'll
1,000.
keep it. That would be so awesome. I mean, that's
Yeah.
going to be worth some
Yeah,
money.
because that was what, in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
No.
1985 or something.
1985,
July.
yeah.
Yeah.
July,
May.
he knows it. July
Well, because we
1985.
did. We were cataloging
Page
them
37.
all. Like me and
Yeah.
him, yeah.
No, honestly, yeah. We cataloged them all. Literally 400. We have
Yeah,
multiple
we took
full
like 2
years.
hours
multiple
going
full
through
years.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah,
us
dude,
a whole
there's
day.
some of those that are worth some money, I'm sure.
Yeah,
probably.
There's some crazy
I'll have
shit.
to-
Like there were some people. I'm like, holy shit, this chick's in here.
Exactly. That's what. Yeah.
Drew Barrymore,
Yeah.
literally, like her 1990 something nipples are on there. It's crazy.
There was some crazy shit. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Just
So,
wanted to.
there we go.
You want to hit the last couple.
Let's hit these super chats. So, let's see. Go ahead. Who's
Where the
reading?
hell are we?
Somebody read it.
Curtis. Got my Lucy shirt today. Love it. Much love. Thank you so much. I
Thank
love
you.
those too. We have some new merch coming out here relatively soon. So hang tough with us. Laura says, hey, from Oz, listen to you has brightened my day. Very good. I appreciate. We talked about Oz. What did we talk about? Oh, yeah,
Lots of
Lindy.
things.
Lindy, yeah. So Joe says, we love you guys and we can't
Hey,
wait to
Joe.
come visit. Also looking forward to some new snakes on the site. There you go,
Awesome.
Lori.
Gotta be
That's up to
Yeah,
you.
working
Yeah, I
on
got to be
Joe.
quick. As soon as they're up, they're down.
And that's it.
And that's it. Well, listen, Brian, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
Thanks
Hey,
for
thanks
coming
for
all this
having me.
way, man. And again, September 5th and 6th, St. Louis. You can go to narbc.com. You can check all that out. Also, Chicago Reptile House. Anything, we'll put links in the description to
Yeah.
all the
Cool.
stuff. And hopefully, if you were going to say, I shouldn't put you on the spot like this, but I'm going to. Percentage chance of October happening, Tinley Park.
I think it's 60-40 it'll happen.
60-40.
Because of right now, the last thing that I was told by the convention center is that it's at a 50% occupancy rate right now.
Okay.
So we could have 50%. So what we'll do is we'll open up on Friday, I think.
Okay.
I think we'll do setup from like 7 a.m. to like 1 p.m. maybe
Okay.
or 2 p.m.
And then
Shut
have
it down for
half-
an hour, and then maybe open up retail sales from like 3 to 8 on
Okay.
Friday night.
Gotcha.
And I haven't I haven't told this to anyone. Bob and I have discussed it a little bit. And then Saturday morning, maybe open up at like 8 o'clock in the morning instead of 10. That gives
Right.
us 2 more hours. Instead of closing at 5, maybe close at 7 on Saturday
Okay.
night. And then Sunday,
then
maybe open
split
it up
'em.
at 8 in the morning and go till 5 instead of 4.
So you can
And
limit
now
the
all
numbers.
those hours, you can sort of spread the crowd out, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that way, if they're saying, okay, 50%, so if 5 people walk out, 5 can go
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
it allows just longer time for things to, you know.
Makes
Yeah.
And I
sense.
think people are going to sort of feel like, hey, let's get in here, let's get our shit, and let's kind of get out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Let's not hang out all day long like we normally
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're right. Well, that's really encouraging, man. I mean, it's
Yeah.
encouraging that they're willing to do 50%, and it's encouraging that you think 60%. That's great.
That's how I feel about it right now.
Well, I hope so, because Tinley is. I can't imagine going a year without Tinley.
Yeah.
You know, I
it's-
mean, so I know you can't because it's
Sure.
your lifeblood.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the reptile hobby, US Arc, everything else needs it. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think so 60-40, that's phenomenal, man. I will promise you this. As long as I'm mentally aware, available, I will be in St. Louis and I will be in
right,
at
awesome.
Tinley
I'll happily.
as long as I can mentally handle the trip. And Lori's going to get me there, right?
All right. Sounds like a plan. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like
All
a
right.
plan. There we
So,
go.
so listen, thanks again. All links in the description. It's awesome hanging out. And Noah, take us out of here.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed. You have been checked in, and we are checking out.
Peace. All right, there it is, man.
Cool.
Cool. Thanks, dude. That was
Yeah,
really
that was
good.
awesome.
It's cool. Good stuff, dude. That was really good, man.